It's not what you said, it's how you said it.
I think that's just a matter of perspective, my dude.
Because I'm patiently waiting.
Patiently waiting.
Like, you can't say the phrase patiently waiting without like sounding demanding.
Without singing
You know
the
what I
song. Without singing the song. I'll be waiting for a pod like you to start talking about me.
Welcome to
Wow.
GoodFlickas, home of the GoodFlickas. Can you take our critique? I am so happy I didn't let you guys know that I had played it, and you could, like, that was what a fun way to come into this show. And Jen, brava! I'm sending you some applause on that one. Like, hell yeah, that was beautiful. A little cover of Foreigner. I appreciated that. But yeah, welcome to GoodFlickas, where we will be getting into the Nutcracker in the Four Realms. But as we enter, there was an awkward silence, and it was made up more awkward. But ultimately, we're best friends again. Nobody's getting capped. It's all good.
Band's not breaking up, guys. The
Yeah,
band
like it was shaky there for about a whole 5 seconds, maybe. It was terrifying, but we found our ground, and we're back. That we apologize for being late. Maybe that was part of it, was this tiff we had. But we're here live, and let's get into it. I'm going to do some intros. I'm of course Matt, and I'm joined tonight with Brian, who what is the name you've got for yourself?
Oh, Ginger Snap.
Oh, Ginger Snap. I love it. All right. Okay.
I'm so happy to be here, Matt.
I know what you're referencing, but it reminds me of a terrifying doll, and now I'm uncomfortable. So thank you for that. And Jen, as she walks away, I can say this. Actually, I don't think she's started yet, but Jen will be working on her diamond art, and she is under pressure to finish it within the time frame of the show. Oh yes, it's on now, Jen. You brought it up. So when you come back to the table, and you start your project, I'm going to begin the clock to see how long it takes you to finish.
I can do it. I'm thinking 2 hours.
2 hours? Okay, so well within the show, so plenty of time.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's our job. It's our job to distract her, guys, and slow her down. That's that. Look, I found it. I brought out the grumpy hat. So this is my little bah humbug for the evening. We're gonna try and stop Jen, but ultimately we do want you to finish it so we can see the final result, because it's looking amazing.
I've been working on this for 2 years.
See, oh wow, okay, well, even bigger. Yes, pressure.
Don't interrupt me.
Pressure is on. 2 years of work coming to fruition. Tonight's show, guys. Something
she's healing up for the event.
Exactly. Yeah.
The finale, guys.
This like the pre-carb.
Exactly.
Cramps.
There you go. Yes. Do your exercises. All right.
At all.
Yeah. So, okay, I need you guys to kind of keep an eye on Jen too, because if I get distracted and she starts working before I start this clock, you call her out. I got my eye on you.
Yeah.
And
Brian, all right.
I'm watching Fokker.
Rounding us out tonight, the bearded badass himself, making himself an even bigger badass tonight. He is now in possession of, that's right, people, a sword. This dude is a sword wielding lunatic.
I just break my webcam.
He just impaled his webcam. So sorry, guys. We will have Nick back shortly.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties for
Streaming live from a cell phone.
Nick's got a fancy plate going on. All right. Yes. So we are talking about the Nutcracker and the Four Realms, which was my pick. And this is pick number 2. And Brian, what's the name of it again? It's we're getting it started. It's going to take a while for it to really catch on.
Disney Christmas December. DCD.
DCD Disney
Christmas December.
Disney Christmas December. There we go. We're gonna see that we're gonna get this down. This is it. We're establishing things, figuring it out. Disney Christmas December. I'm trying to. Sorry, this is for me. It's a memory technique because I'm terrible with names. That's why you guys see it here live. Me trying to remember this shit. But yeah, I picked this movie one because it's a lovely little Christmas story, right? No, I think I picked it for a lot of reasons. One, I hadn't seen this movie. I haven't heard a whole lot about it, and this was a first time watch for me. So I was excited to watch a new movie, watch a new Christmas movie. I really like doing that with you guys here. But the Nutcracker is also kind of a story that takes me back to my childhood. I've seen it a bunch of different times in a bunch of different ways. I don't think I've ever really seen it as a true ballet, which is a bit of a disappointment, to be honest. I would love to see it happen. You guys look at that. She's already sneaking on it. Time has started officially. Wow, she is good. She literally waited until he's talking and now go. Damn, Jen. Damn. Anyway, back to why I picked this movie. The Nutcracker is very important to me, Jen. You're breaking my heart. Focus here. No, I remember I have a lot of memories with this story. So I was curious to see what they did with it, and it's a Disney movie, so very interested to see. And I couldn't remember a lot of the story, which is the funny thing. It's been changed and adapted in a bunch of different ways. I mean, have you guys seen the Tom and Jerry version?
No.
Hilarious. It's amazing. But yes, there's a Tom and Jerry version of the Nutcracker. So that's what I'm saying. Is like I've seen a bunch of different ways, and none of them are really the same. And I really enjoyed this. Plus, I got to see some cool dancing in this. Like this was a little fun. Yeah, ultimately that's why I picked it. New movie. It's a bit important to me, and that's it. Christmas. Anybody want to go first for thoughts and rating? Oh, Jen. Okay.
I'll go.
I'm still ticking though. Don't think you're getting.
That's fine. So I've never seen this movie or like any version of the Nutcracker, so I have really nothing to compare it to. So this was like a complete first everything for me, and I enjoyed it, but I do feel like it was just missing something, like a little bit of everything. I wanted more, like more adventure, more struggle, more. Like I felt like the characters, they all played it very safe. And it was decent, but I wasn't like trapped into it like a good adventure movie normally does for me. So for that, I'm gonna have to give it a 3.4. I think that's even too high. Maybe like a 3.2 and a half. I'm sorry, Matt, because you really like this one, but I didn't. But maybe like you guys we make movies sound a lot better than what they are, and your perspective is probably different than mine. But for me, I just felt like it just was a little blah. Not bad, not great.
Oh, fair enough. All right, Brian, I see that hand up. Eager beaver, go ahead.
Now you can.
Little sis needs a saving, so big bro's coming in. Okay, the Nutcracker. The Nutcracker in the Four Realms. Where do I begin? Did you guys know that The Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland and Narnia all got together and had a little baby, and it is called The Nutcracker in the Four Realms.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah. It's breaking news here. This movie is not any movie to go nuts about, ladies and gentlemen. Do not waste your time with it. I just, the only thing that I can say positive about this movie was the costumes were incredible, and the sets were, and like the visuals were absolutely stunning. And that's what made me even more disappointed, because you got me so excited and then you just completely pulled the rug from under my feet, and it just didn't execute the way I thought it was going to. Like, it first started off really great, and very, very quickly the ball of yarn unrolled, and just I started to wonder how much eggnog did people drink while making this film. And just like, they're trying to do a Nutcracker rendition, yet maybe 10% of the Nutcracker is actually in it, and they go and spin off into their own thing, and they lose it. They lose everything. It's gone. There is no structure. There's no foundation. It's like Wild Wild West on this one. And it's a shame, because it really could have been great. I mean, you've got two major actors that we'll talk about later that you barely utilized. Really, really good up and coming one that I want to talk more about. But other than that, man, I don't know what is going on with this movie, but it just did not please me at all. And
no kidding.
No, it's just, I mean, I could barely even find myself to write notes, because I didn't even know what to write about. It was just so discombobulated, and I can tell it just lost. It just lost whatever the goal was, or their target was, or what they were trying to achieve. Somehow they lost it. But I gave this one a 2.6 out of 5, and the only reason it got that high is because of the costumes and the visuals that they stuck with for the movie.
Damn. Okay. Well, looking forward to talking about this, and I appreciate your strong opinions. So we'll get into it. But Nick, what have you got for us?
All right, Matt, I think you'll really appreciate me on this right now, because I
ain't afraid of a healthy debate.
really enjoyed this movie.
All right.
Now I haven't really seen any other of the Nutcracker type of films either, so I can't, again, like Jen, like I don't have really much to compare to. But I really enjoyed this movie. I think that there's like a really good, like, special place that this movie has. It's very fantastical. It's very beautiful. The story is super simple, but it's easy to follow. And I like it is in the beginning, it's a little hard to find kind of like the motive and the foundation, but you do learn about all of that in like the second and third act. But I just think the characters are neat and cool, and the scenery is beautiful. Like Brian said, the costumes are great. But it's a very like Disney story, good guy, bad guy, hero wins in the end. Like it's very typical, so it's not like anything new there. But I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the writing. I think the writing was really good, in my opinion. I really liked it. So I'm really curious to see what Jen and Brian, like what about this movie really that did not resonate with you. You talk about that, because there's a lot to like for me, and I gave it a 4.5.
Hey, okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, the sides have been drawn, and
Yeah.
as per usual, it is the Walshes versus the world. And that's okay. They are healthy competitors. They're no cakewalk. So Nick, you and I have our work cut out for us. But yeah, I really enjoyed this story. I think for a Christmas story, what I like most about it is it's not your cheery, happy-go-lucky, all of the thing of like just it's a different side to the magic of Christmas, and I really like what this story is actually about. It's not so much about Christmas. It's about this girl's journey and her what is it, the 5 stages of grief. Like it's kind of her going through this level of acceptance and moving forward in her life after losing her mother. So I like what the story is. I admit that it's not perfect. There's quite a bit within it to probably nitpick about, which I'm sure we're going to hear. And there's the wood on your fire. Like I'm not completely against you, but ultimately I like the story it tells. It's a beautiful little fantasy. So the cinematography is pretty great. The CGI, I will say, has it's not perfect. There are definitely a few moments where I'm like, this is a bit wonky, but ultimately pretty good. I personally, I'm not a big fan of using these like CGI'd drone shots where you're just like everything's moving so fast. It's like I can't see anything anyway, but it's all blurry. Like I'm just not a fan. So if you're gonna CGI stuff, why make it blurry and impossible to see anyway? Yeah, I enjoy this. Looking forward to the debate. I gave it a 4.4. So Nick, as per usual, you and I are one on the same mind. So
it sounds like it's the Walshes versus the K's, you know?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds that sounds like a Western, like the Walshes. Isn't that that's a show? That's a TV family, isn't it? It's the Beavers. Leave it to Beaver. No, they're Cleaver. Beaver Cleaver. No, was it the Walshes? No, Walsh was the dad's name. Damn.
The Walshes versus the Kuglauses. The Kuglaus.
I don't like the team names. We're moving on.
I mean,
the
why
Kuglaus.
don't you just say the W's versus the K's?
Yeah.
How about shirts versus skins? Come on.
Yeah.
Wear shirts. Wear shirts. Wear shirts.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this is interesting. No.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this chat for real, but I think it's
For real.
well, it's always nice when we kind of have differing opinions, especially when it's even like this, because it can certainly get some good discussions going. And
yeah,
this isn't your typical Christmas movie. I
you can argue that this is not a Christmas movie, plain and simple.
Wow. It's more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard.
Get out of here.
That's true.
They're literally ornaments. They're toys. It's all about gift giving. Like, come on.
For the first,
it's the entire movie about a gift.
For the first 10 minutes, and then we go on this grand adventure into this another world, and Christmas is never brought up again.
The entire movie, they absolutely bring up Christmas. Like, what is Christmas?
What, towards the end again?
They come back and it's still Christmas. It's all about the gift.
Oh, okay.
The whole point is that gift.
If a movie starts off with a little Christmas and then ends with a little Christmas, and the big fat cream filling of the Oreo is no Christmas, that it's still a Christmas movie. Good to know.
We haven't even gotten into fun facts yet, and we're already this heated.
He's the freaking Grinch over here, man. Like he's fighting over the meaning of Christmas.
Maybe he needs the grumpy hat.
Well, you can know has the grumpy hat.
Yeah, Matt, you need to take your grumpy hat off and
send it to Brian. I'm still grumpy. I'm on the good side.
You're really good grump.
You're grumpy at Brian. That's what it is.
Shout out to the Game Grumps.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause
weird,
it-
weird
you-
segue, Matt. Okay.
Whatever, dude. That was totally for you. I know you're a Grumps fan.
I am. Yeah.
Like you just went. Didn't you go to a show?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Great. Now do a fun facts rap. Stupid.
Yeah, that I
How's
invited
that
you
for
to.
your segue?
And a show that I invited you to, and you didn't go.
You know, we really are just loving friends.
Sorry, guys. Like this would be the last Good Flickas podcast, where this is our final tour show.
This is our goodbye show.
This is our goodbye show. Farewell. Adieu.
Hey, clickbait.
So long, farewell. Auf Wiedersehen, adieu.
Clickbait.
All right, are we ready?
Bless your beautiful heart.
Oh my god. Jen is absolutely right. Just because we had this conversation, we could totally clickbait this. Good Flick is breaking up final.
Yeah. Yeah.
Final episode. Catch it before they're gone.
Will the good flickers become the good breakers? Find out.
And then the video on YouTube is like 22 minutes long. Like all right,
never
that's
gonna
the part
let you
2.
down.
Cuts to part 2, the reunion tour.
yeah. my fun fact song's like, welcome to Fun Facts. This is our last chat. Yeah. Or something.
I hate Matt.
Brian, stupid.
I mean, it's practically writing itself.
It is.
That was good.
All right.
All right, let's get serious now, guys.
Let's get serious for my really dumb song.
Yeah, there's nothing more serious than dot.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I don't know why there was something funny about like dot. Like what even is that? Like you're playing charades and you're just like it's like diamond art and everybody's like what?
Obviously.
Like only she would guess that.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, here we go. Fun fact. Brian's gonna nutcrack some fun facts about the Nutcracker and the 4-realm stat. We've got a girl who's an engineer genius. Matt's real ugly, looking like a weenus. Back to the movie. Have y'all seen this? I watched it twice because I fell asleep in. Not because it was boring, but because I was tired and went to bed super late that night and had to get up really early to get my tires on my new tires on my car at 7 a.m. before going to work. Now let's hear some fun facts.
I don't have a boo button, but man, it was okay.
I think it's very symbolic for the movie. It starts off great, and then the ball of yarn just sort of unravels on you.
Yeah, I'm really on theme for you guys.
You really are on theme. Good job.
I just want to know, was the ugly thing because it called you stupid? Like, I mean,
Well, no, I wrote this
I'm
actually like
obviously
20,
you wrote.
I wrote this at 5:36 p.m. today. So I forgot to write something. So that's what I came up with.
Like, so, now the confession. You guys.
All right, friends. So Nutcracker in the 4 Realms comes out in 2018. Co-directed. So director number 1 is going to be Joe Johnston, who may sound familiar or may not, if you remember a certain movie that we did of his.
Stupid.
Actually, maybe 2 movies we've done of his. Yeah, 2 movies we've done of his. One of them is Jumanji. And another is The Rocketeer.
Oh, wow.
He also has done Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Captain America, The First Avenger, and Jurassic Park 3. I mean, there's some pretty big titles in here, so that just makes me even more disappointed in the execution of this movie. Disney, you're better than this. Let's go to the other director. Lasse Hallström. Yeah, Lasse Hallström. He's behind What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Dear John, A Dog's Purpose, and Safe Haven.
Oh, Safe Haven.
That one was that's a little sleeper. It's good. But yeah, so what's some of the titles that he's behind as well? So once again, I mean, it's starting with the directors. It's not that we have rookie directors or ones that just don't know what they're doing. I mean, there's some talent here. So it instantly makes me question right off the bat. All right. So the cast. I want to start and pause with this one. Clara is played by Mackenzie Foy. I don't know about you guys, but this was my first introduction to Mackenzie Foy, and she really, really caught my attention. I think this is a name that we're going to want to store in the memory bank. I have a feeling that she's going to have a really bright career ahead of her. Anyone else on her? Or?
Yeah, I don't recognize her from anything, and I'll admit as far as trivia goes, I just read the IMDb trivia. I didn't really dig into any of the actors, but other than the ones that I really recognized. But yeah, I agree with you. I thought she was fantastic through and through. She was certainly a great choice for this movie.
Yeah.
She reminded me of I think it's Keira Knightley.
Well,
is she who I'm thinking of?
That's interesting.
Keira Knightley was in it.
Wait, was she in it?
Yeah.
Keira Knightley was Sugar Plum.
She's Sugar Plum Fairy.
Wait, that's Keira?
Yeah.
Yep, that's Elizabeth's one.
I knew it when they had a close up and she smiled.
And she smiled, yeah.
She has such a unique, beautiful smile.
Yep.
Okay, well, hold on a second.
She changed up her voice so much, though.
Yeah.
Because wasn't Keira Knightley in Pride and Prejudice?
Yeah.
Okay, so I watched that movie recently, but that movie came out a while ago, right? Like the early 2000s, I think, is when it came out.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I was picturing Mackenzie with like Pride and Prejudice, Keira Knightley, like that age range.
Oh, like a young. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She reminded me of I think her name is Haley Graham, and she was in Pretty Little Liars as Aria.
I haven't seen Pretty Little Liars.
I'm gonna look it up real fast.
Yeah, I could be getting the name wrong, like her real name.
Since we're comparing, she kind of reminded me of the London version of I believe her name is Emma Rosenbaum, Shameless.
Oh, Emmy Rossum.
Thank you. Yeah, Emmy Rossum. That's who. But again, she was like kind of the younger London version of her.
Is that the lead in Shameless?
Fiona.
Okay. Yeah, I can kind of see that.
I might also know her from Phantom of the Opera. Some other things.
What you got, Matt?
So, the answer for Aria from Pretty Little Liars, actress's name is Lucy Hale.
Lucy. Yeah.
Which I think she's Robin's sister in How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, well, I mean, I've never seen Pretty Little Liars, so I wouldn't be able to compare if she is or not.
I'm trying to get
Robin's sister in How I Met Your Mother.
I think so.
That was like one episode, right?
2. Well, I think she shows up a couple times because during the final season she comes back.
That's right. Well,
I'm trying to find some.
Nick brought her up, so yeah, we'll just bring her up again. So Keira Knightley is playing the Sugar Plum Fairy. This is a performance that really stood out to me. I think it's some of her better work, if you ask me, because she goes from one extreme to the other and hits them both really, really well. I mean, despite like you got to get over the voice. Like you're just like, okay, you're doing this, cool. And then once you accept that the voice is going to be the voice, if you actually pay attention to what she's doing, I thought she did a fantastic job going from the super good to the twist, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But yeah, her performance really stood out to me.
Sorry, just she's sugarcoating it, right?
Yeah.
But I do look forward to discussing her character. Yeah, that you're right though. Got to get over that voice.
Yeah. And then you got two big names, hardly utilized. Helen Mirren is Mother Ginger, and Morgan Freeman is the inventor uncle, or the uncle of the inventor, I should say.
The Godfather.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. And then the last one. This is again a new actor for me. It was Jaden Fawara Knight, and he is Captain Philip Hoffman.
He did a really good job.
Did anyone have anyone that they want to shout out or talk about? Yes, Matt.
Go to Jen.
Yes, Jen. Roll tape.
I thought I had more time.
I don't know if I can mention this now, but the very beginning, the music, or do you want me to wait till we talk about the beginning?
Oh, I mean, yeah. Wait for, because when we talk about the beginning, you can, yeah.
Well, it's also quick. That's a subject change, but I mean, I'm cool talking about it whenever.
No, let's just wait till the beginning. It'll flow. It flows.
Okay. I wanted to shout out Richard E. Grant, who plays the snow guy. I can't try to pull up his name.
Hang on.
Shivers.
Yes. Richard E. Grant. He pops up in a lot of stuff. I always recognize him from like random little things, but he's a phenomenal actor. I think he's like the record producer. Like he's the bad guy in the Spice World movie. He's also like the father vampire in The Littlest Vampire. I mean he has so many roles, but like I recognize him from a lot of like kind of kids movies and things that I grew up with. So just shout out to him. And Jack Whitehall, who is an English comedian who I think is just hilarious. He's brilliant. He actually has a really funny stand-up bit where he's talking about how he went to school with Robert Pattinson, and he's not talking shit, but he's talking shit. It's pretty hilarious what he does. But he's hilarious. He plays one of the little night guys that ends up in the captain's old post. He's the skinny guy that's does the survey kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Yeah, the goofy kind of guy, right? He the born killer drops the
taller
dagger.
one.
Yes. Yes, that's Jack Whitehall.
Okay.
Just a comedian. I haven't seen too many things, but he's just really funny. So big shout out to him too.
Apparently he's a really, really like big, gigantic Disney fanatic.
Oh yeah.
And
talks about it in a stand-up.
He says, I will play any role in any Disney movie. I just want to be a part of it. He's a great. I mean, from what little I saw, throw him in a Disney movie. He's got the juice for it for sure.
I think he got a role for one of the I guess the rock trolls or whatever in Frozen, the Kristoff's family, the
Oh, that's Frozen 2, right?
No, it's the first one.
Oh. What?
Do you not remember Frozen?
I do remember Frozen, but
ones...
I'm thinking of the giant rock monster things.
You mean Snowflake? The big snow monster.
No, I think I'm thinking of Frozen 2.
Yeah, okay. But yes. The little rock trolls, the little like that Kristoff and Sven grew up with.
Yes, okay, that's right.
They roll around those little guys. He was cast to voice one of those, and I believe his character was cut.
Yeah,
so he's got a whole bit about it. So if you're interested, I think he's got at least one stand-up special on Netflix. So for anybody, since we watch things on Netflix as well, check out Jack Whitehall stand-up on Netflix.
Jack White on stand-up. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Was there any other characters or actors that anyone wanted to highlight? If you don't know the actor name, we can look it up for you.
Well, I wrote down a name, but I don't have a face to it, and that's a problem. Okay, never mind. Nope, I'm good.
Nope. Okay.
Oh, now I remember. Sorry. Have any of you watched Ted Lasso?
No. I've seen the first season.
Okay. So you know he starts off as like the equipment manager. He's the guy that like is filling all the water bottles. He's restocking the lockers. He's washing. They pick on him. He walks around with the box for donations for birthdays and stuff.
Sounds familiar.
You might Nathan. He calls him Nate the Great.
Oh, Nate the Great. Yes.
Mm-hmm. He has a very, very small role in this, but a great shot of his face, so he's easy to recognize. When they walk into the party for Morgan Freeman's party, he's the guy that the father is speaking to when he's telling what to announce.
Oh.
Like I said, it's a quick little thing, but like he is clear, he is bright as day. You can't miss him. Yes, Jen.
That's what I was going to do. Okay, this might be only me, but did anybody else think that their father looks a lot like Nick? I was like, Nick, how did you get a role in the film?
It's the beard. It
is. But like even like his voice a little bit too. Like if you were to go like an octave lower, it's like spot on.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it. Like if that's what I'll look like in 10 or 15 years, I'll take it. Go ahead, Matt.
While you bring it up, I think you're right. He does kind of look like him. But I forgot to write his name down, but I actually recognized this guy from a Three Musketeers movie. One of the more recent ones with Mila Jovovich and Logan Lerman. If anybody's seen that, he played. But the father in this movie plays Athos in that Three Musketeers movie, which is also a fun watch.
Was that the one that we watched, or no?
No, not that one.
Okay.
Because we watched the Tim Curry one, right?
Like the older one?
Is it with I'm blanking on his name. Of course, this is the first one tonight, folks. Can't remember his name. Chris O'Donnell. Damn it, I always get there, I guess. But Robin is D'Artagnan. How terrible are all your memories?
Very bad.
I'm fairly certain I picked Three Musketeers, and I'm fairly certain I picked that one.
Yeah, you did pick Three Musketeers.
Yeah. So no, not that one. This is a more recent one. It came out in 2000.
The one that you picked had Kiefer Sutherland in it.
Yes. And Charlie Sheen.
And Charlie Sheen, correct.
Yeah, Charlie, so he was in there. Okay, I was gonna say that, but I wasn't sure.
Yes. So actually, I believe this guy played the same character as Kiefer Sutherland.
Ah, okay.
So that helped.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Before we move on, Morgan Freeman. Do you guys have any guess or estimate as to how many movies, documentaries
No, that's not fair.
this guy's in?
You had to throw in documentaries. That's not fair. God.
Like with just his voice alone?
No, Morgan Freeman in general.
I say it's got to be 200 plus.
Okay.
Whoa.
I was thinking hundreds, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 200 plus.
I was like in the 20s.
Well, if we're throwing in like his voiceover work, that's got to be
Yeah.
tons more.
Or
Like,
commercials.
It is 192.
oh,
yeah,
so
okay.
close.
100 and like it's just he's just popping. And what's crazy is I don't know about you guys, but can you guys think of any time that you watched something where it was young Morgan Freeman?
Okay, no, but
Right?
it's so
It's like his career
Oh.
started at 50 and the man never ages.
but it didn't.
Well, he only aged when you saw him from like, DVD quality to 4K quality. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy to think. And like I'm looking at the list that he's been in, and these names are just unreal. And you're like, oh, I totally forgot you were in that one too. I mean, some of them you definitely remember, but others like, he's notorious for Shawshank Redemption.
yeah, that's what I
Seven.
was just thinking of, a Shawshank. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're gonna get it. You get him as Red. He narrates the movie. I mean, it is. I'd say that that's probably his number one most recognizable role. He's in the Chris Nolan's Batman trilogy. So Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises. He's in $1 Million Baby. Now You See Me, Now You See Me Too. Bruce Almighty. You guys remember him as Bruce Almighty?
Doesn't he play like God or something?
God, yeah. Something like that.
yeah.
He's in Ted 2.
He's narrator and Ted. And
yeah, exactly. He's in the
no,
bucket list.
No. He actually is. He's a lawyer in Ted 2.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He's also in like Lucky Number 7. Also, the other one that I always connect with that is Wanted, because they're kind of similar movies.
Wasn't Wanted.
He's got the Olympus has fallen and London has fallen and that whole thing going on with Gerard Butler. I mean, the man just showed up and just worked. And it is just so interesting to like actually look. Oh, do you guys remember him as the president in Deep Impact?
Nope.
Terrible movie, but him as president it's definitely one of my childhood memories. Oh, and then you also have Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah.
He's in Outbreak. Along Came a Spider. Some of his newer stuff, Las Vegas, with Robert De Niro and Michael Douglas. I mean, it just, man, Freeman, he's doing it.
Oh
How old is he? Curious.
Well, he was born on June 1st, 1937.
Whoa.
80,
85?
85, 80, 86?
Yeah, 80. Hang on.
He's in his 80s?
We're 4 years away from his 90th birthday. Yeah, so 86.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie came out 5 years ago, so he was like 81.
He looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
What is his diet and hydration?
Wait,
It's a Hollywood
Wait,
secret.
this movie did come out 2018, right?
Yes.
Was it
Yes.
2018? Yeah. So he would have been 81. Yeah.
Wow, 81 in this?
I'm trying to remember. I just recently watched a movie. And I didn't even catch that he was in it, like, during the title or during credits and whatnot. And all of a sudden he pops up, and it's like it's not a good movie at all. And I don't remember what movie it was, but I remember writing down on the letterbox, I wrote down something like, when Morgan Freeman showed up in here, I couldn't help but think this was elder abuse because of how bad the movie was. And I'm trying to go down and see which one it is. Go ahead, Nick.
I don't. This doesn't really have anything to do with this movie, but just a kind of topic idea of like A-list actors that are really old now. Like in the last decade, God, I can't talk today. In the last decade, we've had A-list actors, that have had decades of careers, but that still are in movies. Like Betty White, rest in peace. She passed recently, but in the last decade, we got a lot of her. We have Harrison Ford, doing a ton of stuff at his old age. You have Clint Eastwood still making movies and even like doing cameos and stuff. And then we have Morgan Freeman, dude's in his 80s and he's still doing stuff. And
Robert De Niro,
Al Pacino.
Okay.
Is it in his like 70s?
even Pesci.
Can we get
Joe Pesci?
I love what we're doing here, but can we get a shout out to Helen Mirren?
Essentially actors that are like
I shouted out to her.
I know, but like while we're shouting out all of these people who are still doing shit, I mean, Helen Mirren, I think Morgan Freeman was in it as well, but Red, I mean, they did she's doing action movies and shit, and she's in like 70s and 80s. Like, come on. Shout out the working women too, right? I just feel like we've been shouting out a bunch of guy names,
Well, Betty White. I got Betty White in there.
I know. I'm just
rest in peace, Betty.
Yeah.
Helen Mirren. Yeah, I know. Oh yeah. Okay.
Anyway, okay. Moving forward, our ratings. We're giving this one 3.69. What, Jen?
I always imagine Betty White and Grandma just causing havoc up in heaven.
It's a cool picture.
I think they're best friends. Sorry.
So we're giving this one 3.69 out of 5 stars.
Sounds average.
Letterbox 2.4 out of 5.
Ooh.
IMDb 5.6 out of 10.
Yep.
Roger Ebert 1.5 out of 4.
Yep.
1.5. Wow.
For once,
Not the real Raj.
Not the real Raj. No.
It's not the real Raj.
No, I think the real Raj would have quit his job.
Riddance.
Budget was 120 million, and worldwide gross is 174 million.
Hey, we got the money back.
There are no Oscars or Golden Globes to talk about. Of course. And really, awards in general were kind of scarce. Not a lot of fun facts either on this one. So, starting with this one, did you guys notice the Fantasia tribute? We got one yes. We got one no.
I don't think I've seen Fantasia.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
It's you really got to be in the mood.
It's one of those movies you just got to be in the mood
like
for
you.
Well, so it's a live orchestra playing with animation.
Yeah.
Mm.
Exactly.
So it's
and actually there is
the music.
there's a nod to the Nutcracker in Fantasia, and now there's a nod to Fantasia in the Nutcracker. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But what it is the start of Fantasia starts with the conductor, and the lights go dim, and you just see the shadow of the conductor, and then Fantasia's off. And so there's a scene in the Nutcracker where the conductor, you just see the shadow of the conductor, and that was just the nod.
Like right before the ballet.
It was before the story of the four realms. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was. I thought it was a nice little touch.
Mm.
You know, Disney helping Disney.
Yeah.
Helen Mirren took whip cracking classes for this movie.
Mm.
You need a class for that.
I didn't even know there was whip cracking classes.
What a cool thing to say you got to do at your job.
And when I found out that fact, hence my name of the...
Oh, ginger snap.
Stahlbaum, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, is German for steel tree.
Like steel, S-T-E-E?
Correct.
Okay, not like you go steal a tree.
Yeah.
I'm Nicholas Steeltree. Why did I steal your trees?
And the last fact that I have, this is Morgan Freeman's only Disney movie.
Oh, wow.
That is a fun fact.
Now, yeah.
Out of 190 whatever.
Out of 191 other options, this is his only Disney movie he's in, and this is a 2018 release.
Wow.
So even from now, the last 5 years, he still hasn't done any other Disney projects.
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't think so. He's too edgy for Disney, you know? That's why they had to put him in an eye patch. They're like, we got to rein this guy in a little.
Yeah.
I feel like you left out a big thing, like some big facts.
I may have, man. I'm running on empty fumes this week, so
no, that's fair. I want to bring up like kind of the origins of the Nutcracker story.
Oh, see, I only look for like movie facts. If you want to do the background facts, then go for it.
Well, so how familiar with the Nutcracker are you guys? I'm not mistaken, you all kind of said like not so much.
Not at all. I didn't even know the song that went with it.
I'm familiar with it. I've liked the music, has always kind of stood out to me. Especially, I can never pronounce the conductor's name, but it starts with a T.
The Trans-Siberian Orchestra?
No, not that. It's like
Tchaikovsky.
Damn it, I was close.
Yeah.
Yes. So that music is great. I never have been really into the actual story of the Nutcracker itself, where it's a human turns into a Nutcracker, and then it's all about the Mouse King, and I'm like, just not really my thing, Yeah.
No, I'm with you. So I think that's why this is kind of important. That I didn't do like serious research on like what came first, the chicken or the egg kind of deal with this.
Right.
Kind of pull it out of my ass. But this was based off of two pieces of the Nutcracker. So partially on the ballet and partially on a short story called The Nutcracker and the Mouse King.
Yeah.
And I think what they did is they melded the two stories together pretty well to the point where I think in both stories, the female protagonist has a different name, but they use both in this. I can't remember which is which, but the mother is Marie. Can't remember. It's something like that. But the mother's name is from one of the stories and Clara is from the other. So they have nods to both the stories in that. But I think that's where this story changes a lot of stuff. Like the ballet has a very different story, but if I'm not mistaken, and I want to look this up, and I apologize that like I'm throwing out fun facts that are, you know, what I think I can remember. So I don't have anything to back it up at the moment. But I think both stories in general have this theme of overcoming a death, or, you know, like getting through the loss of a loved one during the time of Christmas, when it's the hardest, when, you know, when you want to be with family and you're missing them the most. So it's always been kind of like this tragic story that has somewhat of a happy ending. And it's always told a little bit differently, but ultimately there's always this battle between the toy soldiers and the Rat King, you know? And I think that was something and I know I'm jumping a bit into the story with this one a little bit, but that's what I liked about this story, is that it switched things up a bit to where I didn't expect a lot of stuff. That being said, I will admit I have forgotten most of the details of the story because it's been so convoluted with other retellings that I don't remember the actual story. So this, I enjoyed what they came up with, where it was familiar enough, but new. And I really enjoyed that about it. And we certainly have my own kind of like nitpicks, or, well, I wish they would have done this instead, but we'll get into that when we get to the story. Any last thoughts? We can take a break. Keep going. What are you guys feeling?
Quick break.
Break, yeah.
Quick break. Yep. Sounds great. We'll take a quick break. Jen, just because we take a break, your clock does not stop. I'm telling you right now, so you're not all like, well, it had to be faster than that. No, clock does not stop. You started, it's going.
Okay.
Harsh.
I'm just saying. Harsh.
I'm never doing a time painting on this podcast again.
Just
like, what if she has to pee?
You know,
the clock doesn't stop.
Matt's giving me hardcore Happy Gilmore grandma nursing home vibes right now, buddy.
Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
I want to say his name.
I forgot his character name.
Something.
I completely forgot his character name, but Ben Stiller as like a.
I think it's Hal.
Is it?
It's something like that.
I'm trying to remember.
You just have a lovely day there. Then kill you.
I'm trying to remember the quotes that he says.
Something about, I'll break your fingers or something.
Can I please have a glass of
somehow
wine?
like good news? What is it? Good news. We're skipping lunch or something.
My fingers hurt. Do your fingers hurt?
Yeah.
Now your legs, now your knees can hurt because you just pulled guard duty.
Oh my God!
Anybody else's fingers hurt?
He was on one.
He was the fucking worst, but
heavyweights, Happy Gilmore, like he found his little niche there.
He's really good at playing that like off the rocker kind of character.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so have fun with your arts and crafts, Jen, and send Matt your doctor bill.
I am not telling her not to stop. I'm just saying the clock continues. Let's get into what I love as the start of the movie, because what better place to start than the very beginning? So I don't predict there's going to be a whole lot to say about this, but it's a pretty nice start. They do your little flyovers, all kinds of CGI and whatnot. But I did say that like I saw some ice skating because they start on I think the frozen river, or I don't know if it's I don't know the bodies of water in London, but frozen ice skating, love seeing it. Was really trying to keep an eye out for hockey because your boy. But it was fine. Again, didn't really nothing, not too big a deal about it. Jen, go ahead. You first, like I'm like, yeah, like go for it.
I thought you were just trying to talk so you can delay my time. slur. No. So the intro. So I wanted to mention the music. I got a lot of Robert and Hammerstein vibes from the music, and that little doo-doo-doo-doo, it sounded so much like, why can't I ever have a girl like me? Like whatever that was.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait. And I started singing that. I was like, wait, wrong movie. I was like, that's not right. That's not right. I was like, that's not the Nutcracker song, is it? No, I don't think so. And it took a while for my brain to connect. And I'm just wondering if anyone else got that.
No, I didn't make that connection.
No?
No, but it's funny that you mentioned that, because I'm not a musical person, but that I get that feeling all the time where I don't want to call it the derivative, or, but like you catch something that's very similar to something else, and that happens to me all of the time. But I did feel it very Christmassy. That was my feelings to it. Like but I can absolutely see like Rodgers and Hammerstein like that, especially the one you bring up with that kind of feeling and that kind of hyper giddiness feel. Yeah. Yeah, Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, I mean, just to add, I didn't get Roger and Hammerstein's, but there were two.
Roger. Sorry.
There were two tones that I'm like, is that? No, it can't be. The first one is when they show up to the bridge castle thing. I swear it sounded like something straight out of Hunger Games. And then the other one, and I don't remember the scene at all, but it sounded really, really close to the North Pole score in the Santa Claus. When they're actually entering the North Pole and they're lowering in like do 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 do, like that one.
Okay.
I'm like, whoa, man, that sounds dangerously close to it, and it just instantly triggered my memory.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think I need to. Well, I needless to say, I am going to rewatch this movie because to me, this is now a Christmas movie. It's going into the collection. Sorry, guys, can't stop me. But that's very interesting, and I'm gotta re-listen. There were certain parts of this that I caught that are like the traditional things you'd expect in any Nutcracker story.
Yes.
Yes. Like if you don't, like, come on, are you the fuck out of here? So yeah, there are a few things like that that I really noticed, but I wasn't paying too much attention to the score most of the time. So I have to give it a listen. But yeah, any other thoughts of this kind of drone-ish footage following the owl as it goes into this attacking the mouse transition as it crawls into the thing?
No,
we get.
I liked it.
Yeah.
London is such a pretty city when it's filmed for some reason. There's just something about it, whether it's in the Nutcracker movie or I can't even think of another one, but even I get Peter Pan, that's not a really good example, but anyway, there's just something about it and the way that they filmed it, and they fly right next, they zoom you right in next to Big Ben, and the coloring and the winter in London. I was like, it's just a really pretty setting, which kind of instantly got my hopes up. And we'll let the discussion continue and go from there. But for an intro, I thought it was very it was very grabbing.
Got my hopes up. I'm so sorry. Before I was devastated by this horrific movie. Okay. Any other thoughts on that? And I don't know, do you guys consider that? Do you guys want to just consider that the intro or the transition into I guess meeting Clara.
I would argue that the meeting Clara and seeing their like domino effect contraption is
The
also
Rube
part of the
Goldberg
intro.
machine.
Yeah. I consider that as part of the intro as well. I think what you guys are talking about is more of like the opening scene
Mhm.
itself, but that scene with Clara and Fritz, like that's like the intro, which I really enjoyed. That like it's always fun to see that kind of stuff. And I know there was another movie recently where we brought that up.
Yeah.
I can't remember what movie it was. It was a couple of weeks ago. Do you know?
Oh
Matt?
no. I do remember bringing this up more recently though.
Yeah.
What have we watched recently? What was before
Jingle All the Way, the
Jingle All
Santa
the Way.
Claus.
The Good Dinosaur?
No.
No. We
You have
did
to-
the Haunted Mansion.
Brian, are you able to pull up the list?
Yeah, I've got it right here. Nothing's jumping up at me as to
Just read them back.
sure. The Santa Claus, Jingle All the Way,
Uh-huh.
The Good Dinosaur,
Uh-huh.
Dolomite Is My Name,
Uh-huh.
Die Hard,
Uh-huh.
The Haunted Mansion, Prisoners, The Adjustment Bureau, Missing, True Lies, Big George Foreman, Leon.
I thought it was a lot more recent than that, but
Yeah, because now I'm getting into spring, or I'm
Well,
sorry, September.
What are we talking about?
Another use of the Rube Goldberg.
With who?
like the chain reaction kind of.
So this scene. I gave it a title. I don't know if anybody else did. But I titled it exactly what it is. Mousetrap.
Yeah.
So
Well done.
It wasn't until I like it actually completed that when they catch the mouse with like this ridiculous cage, I'm like, they literally made Mousetrap.
Mousetrap, yeah. I was waiting for the blue boot.
I think for the most part they did a lot of very similar things to like what's in the game. But yeah, just I thought that was hilarious, and I could not like the low hanging fruit on the title. But I always love seeing these machines. It's so cool watching chain reactions take place.
Yep.
And I really enjoy how it introduces us to the character and how it shows her understanding of physics. Like she makes it very clear. Like it's not just the fun of it, and it's like chain reaction. Like there's a reason to this chain reaction, and I understand it. So they really do explain her intelligence. Go ahead, Nick.
I was just
got your tiny little hand back there. I know. Really wish you had a closer shot, but we like seeing your entire apartment.
Yeah, basically. This is a 360 cam of my entire apartment.
Oh my god, that would be so hilarious if that were true.
I don't have a fourth wall. Like it's just it's actually a studio.
You're
like an actual film studio, not just a studio.
That would be even funnier.
No, I was just gonna trail off of that. Is that the setup of this contraption of Mousetrap does really show the like engineering mechanical side of Clara, and like that's the first way we are introduced to her character, which is super important later on in the film, that we know this. And I know I'm jumping just a little bit ahead here, but the scene when she has to figure out like the three swan merry-go-round kind of machine that's going backwards, her fixing that and making it go forwards is super important for later in the movie. And I really like that they kind of set that up, that she is this, like, she's not just like some girl, that she actually has like an educated background in like mechanical engineering or whatever. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out, and just that I appreciate the character. Yeah.
Yep. Anybody got anything to build off of with this scene? Are we happy to do our first reactions or our immediate reactions, or go? I don't know. What do we call this?
Movie memory.
Movie memory. That's it. See, I'm again terrible with names. I had to watch 1 million movies just to memorize actors' names. Like, it's a lot of work. Yeah. Anybody want to go first?
Ooh.
I'll go.
Yeah.
So I'm picking this scene because it's the only scene that I laughed out loud, like hysterically. And it's when
for a good reason.
so it's when the guards find out Clara's the princess and the questions.
Oh yeah.
And so it's so funny. She would be like, well, okay, great, thanks.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't care what your answer is. Just come on in. It was so funny to me. I love that.
Did you notice when they got to the last question, the other guards like, there's no ink in your pen.
Yeah.
There's no ink coming out of your pen.
Those guys were so great.
Like, yeah, that was some thorough checklist right there.
Again, shout out to Jack Whitehall. He was funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
And that's the one that likes Disney, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So funny.
Yeah. Anybody else? I've got mine. So
my movie memory. It's got to be Keira Knightley's performance.
Okay.
Her character or her performance as the Sugar Plum Fairy is probably what I'm going to think of if anyone asks me about this movie, for the rest of my life. It's like, I barely remember anything, but there's one thing I do remember.
Fair.
Yeah. And it's just what she did with that character, from her high-pitched voice to, since we're now actually in the movie and we can talk about it. So from like the high-pitched voice to, I am like basically like the good witch of the West, right? Like I'm your best friend. I'm here to help you, blah, blah, blah. And then I did not see it coming. I'm like, wow. What a twist. I even called it, what did I call it? I called it,
I have a title for it too.
Little Miss Sour Plum.
Oh, that's a good one.
Anyway.
I called it Sugar Plum Goes Salty.
Nice. Salty Plum Fairy. And yeah, so then the twist happens and you're just like, oh, okay. So you are not on her side at all. You were straight up using this poor girl who's clearly dealing with some stuff on her own, and she doesn't need this in her life at this point, right? But the way Knightley just goes from I'm super sweet and innocent to I don't know what she did to get to where she was in this performance, where she's like off the edge. I don't even know how to explain what she's doing as evil Sugar Plum Fairy. But man, it was really entertaining to watch. So that's definitely the memory that sticks with me. Go ahead, Matt.
I've got lots of thoughts with this, but I'm 100% with you. I was not prepared for this voice.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. I remember the ads for this vaguely. So like I remembered what she looked like. I was very familiar with what I was going to see, but I had no idea the voice was coming. and it took some adjustment for like to like kind of accept it, but I think character wise, it's a brilliant choice on Keira Knightley's part because she is playing a sugar plum fairy. Like she is supposed to be the literal essence of sweet.
Yeah.
Like, and you're telling me that's not gonna be like that's like sweet is right there in the E, you know? So I think it was a great choice, and I don't think it was too much either. Like it's abrasive at first, but it's not
ear piercing.
Yeah, it's not.
Or
it's
like
not
nails down the chalkboard to where you're just like, one more sentence from you, and we're going to Netflix.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, so I think that was a great choice, and like you said, with that transition, the twist really threw me off.
Yeah,
I didn't see it coming, and the way that she kept the voice while still she maintained while gaining a deeper tone.
Yeah, it was an aggressive high.
Yes, like she did a great job of that tonal change.
Yes,
when she was like, "No, I'm bad," but this is where my theory is with the sugar plum fairy. So
I have a theory too. This is great. Let's hear yours.
Get into it. So perfect. Yes, let's do this. So the overall arc of her going into the four realms is a coping mechanism for her to kind of go through the stages of grief.
Mm-hmm.
We can agree. Yes. I believe the sugar plum fairy is like a representation of a multitude of things, but among them, she is a representation of sweet lies that we tell ourselves. So that's what's happening. She's being betrayed by this sweet fairy who's telling her like, no, we are the oppressed ones, like we have to stop her. She's dangerous. Look at her. Like you experience, everybody's telling you it's dangerous. It's bad. It's dangerous. It's bad. And she's very sweet about it. She's comforting. She's she's giving you dresses and she's telling you about your mother, and it's sweet lies.
Yeah. She's passing you the Kool-Aid.
Exactly. It's sweet lies. And then it's revealed, right? Like with that turn, it's like, that's that realization of like, you've been lying to yourself. So that's that theory among the big arc that I'm sure I'm gonna spout off later of other things with the whole, that being the overlying arc. But Brian,
you went deep on your theory.
I really did.
I'm playing in the shallow end.
That's cool.
Here's my theory. Sugar Plum just needs a man.
Oh, for sure. Oh, totes.
That's it. She just needs a man in her life, and everything's gonna be fine. Girl was hungry.
The sexual tension was real.
And I think the problem is like one of the best combinations is salty and sweet,
right.
And with no salt to kind of like be her, to her sweet, she just became like her own saltiness, and it's not a good look.
Dude, I mean, she was looking at her little toy soldiers. Like the band's here.
Did you see how nervous she was?
Mama's ready.
Did you see how nervous she was getting during the ballet, that she pulled out her own hair and was eating it? Of course, it's cotton candy, and I get it, but that's a stressed woman.
I mean, didn't she drop what did she drop a line like? Was it "Hello, boys"?
She says "boys" several times.
Yeah, it's when she blows up the first box. No. So the first box of toy soldiers go on the honey, I blew up the kid machine.
When she's addressing her toy soldiers, yes,
and then they all blow up, and then she goes like, "Hello, boys," and I'm like, "Oh, someone's thirsty." Okay, I get it.
Okay, I'm following now. This is okay. Oh yeah. Oh man.
And even when the soldiers are marching, like she has the same attitude towards them.
Well, she drops a line like there's nothing like a man in uniform or something like that. I'm like, oh, okay. All right.
Oh,
Yeah, she was thirsty.
Yeah.
She had too much salt on her. She needs some hydration.
I'm about to make a broad generalization.
Way too much sugar in her area. She needs a little
I'm about to make a broad generalization. You know, it's sad that she needed it so bad she had to resort to her toys.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
They were hollow.
Jesus.
Oh,
And they were hard.
okay. We could have just left it at a nice little thing.
No,
Anyway,
that's not what we do.
I even got a reaction out of Jen.
I think between Matt's and my theory, we actually have the sugar plum fairy all figured out now.
For sure. Wow.
Daddy issues, probably.
You know,
No abandonment issues for sure.
oh,
Like big abandonment issues.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying. Like her dad abandoned her. Yeah. He went for cotton candy cigarettes and never came back.
God, now I'm wondering if it's not that she needs a kid. She really needs somebody to love her. Oh, the poor fairy needs a hug.
Sorry, I'm proud of my joke, and I'm not gonna be ashamed for it.
All right, yeah. So that was it on that. Whose memory are we on now? It's either Matt or Nick's, right?
I guess well, I have a couple.
Drop them.
They're kind of random and kind of all over the place, but
That's the thing about memories. That's what I love about this. That's why I love this segment so much.
yeah. So like the biggest one that comes to mind is the ballroom dancing at the party in the beginning. Like I don't know what it is, but Disney just has their ballroom dances, like ballroom dance scenes down. Like they just do them so well, and they're great to watch.
They're probably just reusing and recycling.
I would not
Guarantee you we watched the Beauty and the Beast sequence.
I was getting Haunted Mansion vibes.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I would not be surprised if it's. I'm not a dance person, so I can't confirm. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're just like, okay, do the waltz. Like that's all they're doing. Because isn't it just a box step? I mean, if you put people in the right place and you dress, you got a great set, and you film it right. Shit, simple waltz looks like the most beautiful thing in the world.
Yeah,
I will say when they were animating, they actually did reuse certain sequences and just change up wardrobe. They're like, I forgot. I used to know the example on the top of my head, but it was I think it was a
Sleeping Beauty and Beauty and the Beast.
Was that it? Yeah.
Their dance around is it's the same, and I think they even like the big wide shot is so like when they're tiny and dancing still is the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
There's some good ones from like I think I think they're both Baloo, where he's dancing in Robin Hood, or so I guess it's Little John and Robin Hood, and as Baloo in the Jungle Book. It's the same dance. He's got a different clothes on.
And they thought we wouldn't figure this out.
Oh, man. Dude, it saves you so much time to reuse animation.
Oh, like for sure it does.
Dude, could you imagine how hard it would be to just like, oh God, we got to do another new dance sequence. Like,
yeah.
You're killing me. No. They still do it. I want to say if you hop on YouTube, you can still find videos that people have found where they're like, yeah, they're still reusing shit.
Yep.
So that was one. The other one that I really liked is the Clara when she's escaping the top of the tower with the rope. And she's like, "Oh, it's just the laws of physics," and like he just drops the rope and it's spinning around that pole as she essentially slides down. I thought that was super cool. Really caught my attention, and I'm curious if that works.
Oh, it's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to figure out if that rope was CG or not, but I'm pretty sure it is. But yeah, I just thought that was really cool. That was
Well, Nick, lucky for you, we have Mythbusters just waiting by, and
dude, I would watch that episode. Hell yeah!
Yeah, right.
And then the last memory is the it's turning Sugar Plum into a toy, just like the what is it, a rocket or plasma gun? I don't know what it's called, but it just like reverses and
that was the shrink ray, I believe is what it's called.
Yeah, the shrink ray. Yeah. I just thought that was super cool and a super neat twist, just because after we learn about Clara's, reversing the swan, machine, and she like used that to reverse the shrink ray. I just thought it was super cool. So I think that's my favorite memory is the shrink ray reversal. Yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
I didn't make that connection before of the reversing of the thing and like knowing how, like I didn't make that connection, like knowing how to fix it. You can also know how to break it essentially.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Good catch. And that thing threw me off. Like I knew that she fiddled with it in some way, but I didn't know what it was going to do. I was expecting it to just make like Ginger really big or something, but bam, for that thing to just like turn back and be like, gotcha, bitch. That it did. It surprised me. I wasn't expecting it to go like that. But great catch too. Yeah. Sorry, I had a thought on it, but I lost it.
Yeah, it was as soon as that ray turned towards Sugar Plum, I was like, oh, like it clicked instantly for me because of the swan thing. But yeah. Yeah, Clara basically Dave Chappelle Sugar Plum. Gotcha, bitch. Yeah.
So I think I've got one that I keep going to. We'll see. I've got a second one. I don't know. It's something I really enjoyed. But my first initial one was the first time we see the Rat King. Because this is a character that's in all versions of the Nutcracker in some way, right? Like it's the Rat King, good, bad, whatever. Like it's the Rat King. And when I saw that this was just a literal grouping of mice to create a Rat King, which is a literal thing when a bunch of rats get together, their tails get grouped, is a horrific thing. So I was curious, and like to make it that sort of thing was brilliant. I loved it, and getting to see them do it a few times was a lot of fun. One moment in particular where they passed through the toy soldiers and they just kind of like it went through me. Like they kind of freak out a little bit, like a ghost just
my bubble.
Yeah. So I thought that was a really fun moment, but just as like a character design too, to like it really sells the like it's terrifying, like these are the bad guys, they're scary, because that thing looked mean, right? Like it looked like a Rat King. That looks scary. And then for it to kind of be like, no, now it's not on our side. It's like, hell yeah, this thing is cool as hell. The other one is it's Ginger's Clowns.
Oh yeah.
They're creepy as hell, but I
I'd
love
like to hear my
them.
sister's feedback on this scene when you're done.
Okay. They're creepy as hell, but I loved them so much. I thought they were a ton of fun. I thought they were really scary, but also they were enjoyable. You could see they had like personality. They were fun. They were a little like snarky and like they were clowns with attitude, but they could also fight, which was kind of cool to see too. And again,
oh my god,
it was so much fun. And dude, the fact that they're was it like, is it Russian tea dolls? What it is where they stack or whatever?
Yeah, that was really
Russian
cool.
doll.
Russian doll.
Yeah. I loved that they kind of took that concept and made it into these clowns, and they were great. They were so much fun. Go ahead, Nick.
I just wanted to comment. I love the one clown that is essentially transporting Mother Ginger to like the main, was it castle, the main building?
Yes.
Like you see the clown like doing its like, you know, gymnastics, like, you know, front flip, back flip, front flip, back flip, and then you see Mother Ginger like pop out when the clown like breaks in half. Because prior to that, I think, was it Sugar Plum and them are trying to find Mother Ginger in like the circus tent, and they realize that she's not there. Little did we know she was inside of one of those clowns, like just hopping her way over, and I just really like that.
Another brilliant twist too, where it's like it's staring you right in the face. Like these guys come apart, like they literally split in half, and why not hide somebody in there?
Yeah.
I didn't expect it. And it was cool to see her pop out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's it for memories. Unless like anybody else got anything else?
Oh, he wants to hear my thoughts. So honestly, I didn't really see them as clowns, which is good for me because I'm terrified of clowns. But in the beginning, like when they first roll in, I'm like, oh, these guys are kind of fun. And then they just turn creepy real quick on me. And I'm like, never mind. I was like, not friends. And that was it. Sorry, bro. It might be not as exciting as you thought.
It's all good. I definitely thought of you when that scene popped up. I was like, I think Jen just jumped out her window right now.
Yeah. At first I was like, no, this is a cool dance. And then it got really weird real quick. And I was like, nope, I don't like it.
Did you like him again by the end when they were, you know?
Nope. So creepy.
Well,
yeah,
they stay creepy, but
I wasn't a big fan of the scene in general, honestly. Like it was, to me, it was like too far out from left field. There wasn't any, unless I'm missing background story on it. It just seems so like, okay, so what's going to be this realm? Oh, we're going to have Russian dog turn into clowns and move around, and I'm like, oh wow, this is really just out there. So
see, I thought it was clever that they did that. Like they turned the humans into like the Russian doll. I thought that was really cool, and I can't recall if I've ever seen that done before. But then after that, they just got creepy.
Yeah, clever, yes, but I think it's like the clown portion is what kind of just threw me off for a loop too much. And I'm not afraid of clowns. I'm just like, you guys are now just annoying me more than anything. Before, you were kind of entertaining and cool. Now you're just like, you're bothering me. Go, get off my screen. I'm gonna go hang out with the little rat dude.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
I just think it's a fun thing to remember that all of these people were toys, and I just thought it was a really cool concept to take a Russian doll and humanize it to where each thing is. What a cool concept. And the fact that they're clowns, like they're clowns, they were really fun. I fully admit that they're creepy, but what a joy because I think a lot of them, like this actually is. So here's first nitpick complaint, if we can throw one out. Um, it, I like the whole story of how they used to be toys and now they're alive and humans. But I was a little bit disappointed that the Nutcracker is not in any way, shape, or form a Nutcracker. You know, like he's a soldier, which makes sense. The Nutcracker has always been a soldier, but no offense to the kid, I thought he did a great job acting and phenomenal. I wish there was something a little bit more Nutcracker esque about him, a little more toy like, you know. Go ahead.
I completely agree. This was like one of my nitpicks as well. Is the name of the movie is The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, and it I don't. I'm even wondering who even put it together that Captain Hoffman was the main character of your movie, The Nutcracker. Do you get what I'm saying? He is, it's such a back burner role. I mean, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. Obviously the main focus is Clara and then Sugar Plum Fairy, and you almost forget, like, oh yeah, you're actually the Nutcracker. You're the one that the whole play is about. And I just feel like there was just a little bit of a misguidance there.
They should have just called it The Four Realms.
Yeah, because that's really what it was about. It was about the four. It's like the Four Realms and Nutcracker on the side.
Clara and the Four Realms.
Yeah.
You know what? Fair. I actually I can agree with that idea. You know, change the name to just the Four Realms and say, you know, put the little footnote at the beginning based on blah blah blah.
There you go.
know, just say that it's based on these things. Make it clear that it's like it's obvious it's the Nutcracker, but just leave it out of your own title. It's not necessary. But also, I don't think I don't think it's just it's necessary that like because the title involves something that they have to be the main character. Does it? I feel like it happens a lot where there's a title that is about some epic thing, and it turns out that that's the thing that they're searching for. They get to it, and now it's a big deal. But that's also like the last third of the movie is getting to that thing.
Right.
So,
I mean, my argument isn't about the title of the movie. It is about this movie is based off of the ballet, The Nutcracker, or the play, The Nutcracker and the Mouse King.
short story.
Or, I'm sorry, short story. And if like you're gonna do that, why would you back burner your guy so much? And as to your point, you made him completely human the entire time. There was no like the only Nutcracker we actually saw were it was the beginning as a Christmas gift, and that was it. That's the closest to a Nutcracker that we actually saw. So I just felt that it was interesting choices, and I don't think they worked out as well as they hoped. Go ahead, Nick.
So I don't fully disagree with you, Brian, but there are other stories out there where this sort of titling works. Like The Legend of Zelda is a great example, right? Like Zelda is not the main character in that storyline. It's Link. Like Link is the main character. Right. But Link like goes through this adventure and then later, you know, finds Zelda or is searching for Zelda or whatever. But in this movie, it's kind of the same idea where Clara is the protagonist, and she kind of finds or searches or works with whatever with the Nutcracker to help her accomplish whatever goal it is. And I guess it's just a matter of opinion at that point, but like I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing, that the character in the title of the movie has to be the protagonist or the main character. I guess
I agree with you on that. But again, what it's not, don't focus on the title of the movie. Focus on what this movie is based upon. And it's based upon a short story and a ballet that all cater towards the Nutcracker as the lead character. Does that make sense?
Well, no, in the short story, the main character is the girl, but it does involve the Nutcracker.
But it involves him a lot more, doesn't it? It's been a while since I've seen it, so
I'm not super familiar with the short story's full arc.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe we just don't know too much about the story of the Nutcracker enough to really know like how big of a role the Nutcracker themselves play in the story. I guess we'll just have to watch more retellings of the Nutcracker.
Yeah, like I have a feeling I could probably like to ask, Mom or Julie or Chuck, and they'd probably be able to say, "Oh yeah, what do you want to know about it?"
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just it's more of like an artistic choice, really, to kind of have like the character of the Nutcracker kind of play this kind of supporting role. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. All right, I do have another nitpick. Although I'm weighing if I can fully commit to a full nitpick or not, because again, a little lack of knowledge here. But it was the first thing that I wrote down, and I wrote Disney kills another parent.
Another what?
Another parent.
Parent.
It's 2023. I am just so tired of seeing a Disney movie with one parent that's dead or has died in the past or will be dying soon. Come on, guys. Just think outside the box. There's got to be other ways to get us involved in a story without killing a parent. I'm going to step off my soapbox now. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I don't disagree with you. I do believe that one of these versions, their story is it is this the getting over a death kind of thing.
I had a feeling, and that's probably Disney's probably like, hey guys, we're gonna grab this story. I think we got this one.
I think it's the ballet, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So I want to say it's like it's a Russian play, so it's got to be a little depressing.
Yeah, right. Anyway,
let's leave it on that awesome note. Russia.
I mean, I'll comment. I agree. It probably is a trope that's used a lot, but I think that it's still a very powerful one. Like we watched The Good Dinosaur. Was that Disney Pixar, right?
Yeah, that was Pixar.
Yeah. That one has the death of a parent, and it's like what more of a struggle does a child have in their life that's more than their parent dying. Like it's up there. Like it's at the top. Like, is there anything that's more devastating than losing a parent?
I would think being an appliance being left behind when the family moves. Have you ever seen The Brave Little Toaster? I mean, there's no movie more upsetting. I mean, the blanket was left behind. The toaster was they left the toaster behind. It was such a brave little toaster.
Nick, to answer your question, what's more what else is devastating? I mean,
I think any bit of abandonment is devastating.
Just I mean any loss in general, right? Like I don't think you can really compare it. If like let's just say you're watching a movie and they have they've both been looking for their soulmate for years and years and years and years and years, and then they finally find it. They're a perfect relationship, and within 2 years, one of them dies.
Damn.
That's pretty devastating. So whether
Why?
you compare it, what?
Why, dude?
Why what?
I'll put out the why?
Um,
It's Christmas time.
whether you talk about like a kid losing a family or just lost in general, it's probably going to be the number one devastation anyone can experience, and then you go from there, I guess.
But that doesn't. All you're doing is just helping me prove my point. Like what is worse than that? Like would you say that, do you want Disney to, if Disney was still going to do a loss of an important person, like would you want it to be a sibling, like their spouse?
I would challenge them to just maybe not always have to have it be a loss.
So then what would the struggle be then? Like personal struggle?
Could be anything, yeah. Could be like finding finding who you are as a person and overcoming a fear, or spitballing here, fighting an illness. Maybe you think you're going to lose somebody and they're super, super sick, but they end up not being sick, or they end up not dying from the illness. Like I just feel like there's other ways to yank on emotional strings besides always just going for the kill a parent, story, kill a parent, story. I mean, it happens just so many times. You've got right off the bat, I've got the good dinosaur, Finding Nemo, Frozen, Tarzan,
The Lion King.
The Lion King.
Beauty and the Beast.
Toy Story? Yeah. There's no dad. It's just Andy and his mom. I mean, it's just, and that's just right off the top of my head. That's no research. That's no anything. That's how many times I've seen it with Disney. And I'm just like, but why? Even Wally's left alone, completely alone. It's just like their number one thing is just loneliness and emptiness.
Okay. Yes, that seems to be very much Disney's theme. But I think that the important message is that if you as the child don't have your parent around, like this in this movie, how do you overcome like your own personal struggles, right? It's the thought of your parents, like what would your parents do, or in the case of Clara, when she gets that egg and the note of that everything she needs is inside of her, like that's coming from her mother, right? And so that note is even more powerful because her mother is gone, and now she has a lot more motivation to figure out whatever it is that's inside her, to overcome. And if her mother was alive, then the message wouldn't be as powerful, of essentially having to grow up and overcome struggle on your own. Becomes less motivating when you have both of your parents around. Like as like,
I don't know if that's true.
Well, we don't know because Disney's never done it. I mean, unless if we can think of Disney movies where both of the parents are there and we see the child go through their biggest struggle, I'm sure there are, but
I don't know. I'm really trying, but I mean, I just remembered Onward has half of a dad is hanging around. Have you ever seen that one?
It's a really good movie.
yeah.
You're basically hanging out with his pants and his shoes the whole movie.
He never says a word
That's right.
until he says a word.
I'm just like in Moana, a grandmother dies. It's just like, and granted, and I know I've said this.
Parents.
I know I've said this before, and I back on it. Like, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing that Disney does, and I have given them so much credit for displaying death in such a creative way. I mean, they've done it so many times where I'm just like, wow, that is a really creative way of showing death, and it doesn't look dark and scary and all that stuff. It's like a really good, it's actually a great way to kind of break the ice to kids when they start to get older and they start to question about life and how things work and everything. It's like, yeah, you could probably fire up a Pixar movie and say, here, let me tell you something about life, right? But to do it every single time, I mean, that's what I'm trying to get at here.
Can I just respond, Matt, real quick?
Yeah.
I find it really funny because we've watched The Lion King, we've watched Finding Nemo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I find it really funny that this is the movie that you bring up this question. It's like you're aware of this thought, like you've had this thought all this time, but this was the movie that you brought the question up for.
I think it's just because I saw a Disney movie with another dead parent right off the bat, and I'm like,
well, or a Disney movie that you didn't like this
no,
one.
That wasn't it. That's not it. No.
All right, well, go ahead, Matt.
I think Brian doesn't like dead parents at Christmas, and that's valid. But I have a simple like proposition, I guess, to solve this is, so if we agree that the story arc is about grief and you don't think it should be about grieving a dead parent, what are suggestions for would be appropriate for this kid to be grieving?
Isn't that kind of what I asked earlier? Like, what other situations would it be if it was not a dead parent?
Yeah, I mean, with that focus, right? If it's about grief, what else would they be grieving? I think dead parent is probably just the low hanging fruit of like, who is a child most connected to? Most of the time, I would imagine probably a parent.
I mean, well, so there's that, and then you can go with the second low hanging fruit that's just right next to it is the kid loses a pet. Yep.
Yeah.
Why do you want to kill dogs now, Brian?
Her age, what was she, like 14?
Would you think that old? I'm terrible about guessing kids' ages because they all look like babies to me now, which is shocking.
Yeah, I'm guessing she's 13, 14. You might be able to throw in a first crush type thing.
You know what?
Little kids are emotional, so maybe she had someone that she likes, and he had to be, he moved away, and they've been lifelong friends, and they were, boyfriend girlfriend. So you get that devastational loss, and now she's got to work her way through that. How about a best friend who they've been best friends for a really, really long time? They get into a massive, massive fight, biggest fight of their life. They said things that are just unforgivable, and now she's got to work around that. Like, I do feel like there are other options on the table here. You just got to play off the age. Like, you got to look at how old she is, kind of figure out what would be appropriate for that age and just work with it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Matt.
I have a new proposition for you because I've done some math based off of IMDb.
Okay.
So, quick poll for the group. How old would you say Clara is?
13.
I'm saying 12 to 14.
12 to 14. Nick?
Oh, wait, we're giving ranges or just one number?
And
whatever you're feeling comfortable with. I mean, we're
talking Clara, we're
talking about the character Clara. How old?
Not Mackenzie Joy.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, well, if we're going with ranges, I'll say 10 to 16.
Okay, that's a bit ridiculous of a range. Let's rein it into like
Okay, Price is right. $1, Bob.
8
let-
to
let's-
25.
let's say a range of 3 to 4.
8 to
Nick's
25.
like, I'm thinking newborn to 20.
Yeah, she's definitely alive.
I feel like that's a trick question. She's actually 393 years old. She's a vampire.
Damn it, he figured it out.
Time goes awfully slow, huh?
No, I'll say Clara is 13.
13. Okay, so what were the ranges since we went on this ridiculous? I don't
We're
remember.
basically at 13, man.
13. Okay, the average of 13. Excellent.
Average of 13. yeah.
I would agree. I would think probably about 13. So, how old would you say the actress is? What was her name? Mackenzie.
Mackenzie Joy.
Boy.
Or boy. No? Joy?
Boy. F-O-Y. F-O.
Oh, Foy.
Boy. Mackenzie.
Yes, Foy.
I would say maybe like
Foie?
6.
I'm going to guess four. Sorry, how old? 16?
16.
16? Okay.
Yeah.
I say 19.
19? Okay.
She had heavy professional makeup on. That's definitely going to make her look older. I think 15. I think 15.
Okay, so we're guessing that character is 13 and we've got, what was it, 16, 19, and 15. According to IMDb, when The Nutcracker and the Four Realms was released, which actually I think is 2 years after it was filmed, right? From delays of release.
Mm-hmm.
She would have been 16 years old.
I'm so good at kissing. Kissing.
Whoa, buddy.
Red alert, red alert. Okay.
Well,
wow.
we're discontinued.
It's been canceled.
I was trying to say
guys.
guessing kids'
Wait a
ages, but
minute.
somehow guessing and kids combined
Wow.
into kissing.
That's a scary Freudian slip, man.
Oh my god!
Nick,
I am editing the shit out of that part.
oh my god, Nick.
Good Flickas fans, you heard it first. Keep your kick away from Nick.
Let it. Well, we've also made it very clear he works with police. So,
By the way, all I said was I'm just good at kissing. That was the statement.
fair. He never said anything incriminating.
That is true. That is true.
Context.
But, yeah. But if you start connecting dots,
You know what? I think that's the best part. Like, Nick, do what you gotta do, but this is forever recorded.
Yeah.
It's such a hilarious moment.
that's gold.
Oh my god, that's gonna go in outtakes when you're doing like your
That needs to go on like YouTube shorts.
Your year
No,
end wrap up.
it's not an outtake. I'm just taking it out for good.
I'm not taking it out. It's just being out. You know, like,
Yeah.
it's choosing to leave and never coming back.
Yeah. Jen, did you ever hand up?
Yeah, stop the timer.
Ooh.
I finished.
Wow.
It's finished. That's it. Sorry. I know not what anything you guys are talking about.
No, this is epic. Okay, it is all right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, it's completed. This is fantastic. And okay, Jen, you said you could do it in how long?
2 hours.
2 hours. The official time, and this is with a few seconds added just for a delay of me getting to stop it. But 2 hours, 7 minutes, 55 seconds.
Close enough. I'll take it.
That is damn close.
That's pretty close. Woo!
So well done, and I can't wait for you to show it off. You have to show it off for the fans. So Nick, whatever you're taking out, this has to stay. Add like some big victory sounds and cheers and hoot and holler, and she did it. 2 years of work. Congratulations, Jen. Very proud of you.
Done. I'm doing it right now. All of the flares, the fireworks, the sounds happening right now.
Pop. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, Jen. Oh, you did so well.
This is your moment. You're one in a million.
Does anybody have anything specific they want to bring up, or any nitpicks, any praises? Yes, thank you, Brian.
I've got a praise.
Ooh, okay.
No, I thought this was a cool mini scene. I'll call it a mini scene. It's longer than a moment, shorter than a scene.
It's a clip.
It's a clip. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
Much better. I've titled it Slow Time After Time. Does anyone know?
Yeah, I think.
Like when she discovers time is really slow.
Like in the real world. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought this was just a pretty cool scene, or clip where they go and they're like, "Oh, does it look familiar?" And she's like, "This looks like my father's clock or whoever's clock it was." And then Sugar Plum Fairy says, "Just make sure you stay still." And then it just starts to rotate out, and you can see how slow everything's moving and how tiny they look on the clock. And there's just a lot of chicanery going on there that I thought was really impressive. And it was a cool little moment.
I really love obviously they filmed the shots that are moving in slow motion. Like those have to be filmed in like, I don't know, like 1,000 frames per second, because how slow they were moving was very cool and very impressive. They had to have had like some high quality cameras for those scenes. Yeah.
Even like the angles, like, like they made it to where it was like, oh, this is truly from the clock looking down, and
yes,
everything just looked so perfect. Like the heights looked realistic. Everything looked very realistic about it too.
Mm-hmm. One thing I found interesting, like you guys are saying, with they didn't even have to have the people move. Like these could have been completely still images, but the fact that they wanted there to be that little bit of movement, so you could see like time's moving. It's just very slow. Like they they could have taken the easy route of like, yeah, this is just like it's we got footage and then we froze them and froze a frame of it, and this is what we're showing you. But they
exactly
to go that extra mile and get the big camera so it can shoot 1 million frames per second, so that they can slow it down to get all that full detail of.
Yeah,
great stuff.
I kind of wish we knew like what the time conversion was. Like, is 1 second in the realms like 10 seconds in real life or something?
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like that would have been cool.
You're talking about the Fey folk, man. Time is different in the Fey Wild.
And to get totally Chris Nolan on you guys, because who better to mess with your mind about time than him? We're saying that they were moving, the real world was moving super slow.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is the realms world moving incredibly fast, and the real world is actually moving at a normal pace? Yeah,
right. Yeah, that's actually a really good question. Yeah,
it's all about perspective, that's for sure.
It's all about perspective.
Wow,
Chris Nolan, baby.
Yeah, like if you were in the real world looking into the realms, would it just be like chipmunks and like everybody's super fast, you know.
Yeah, like if you were the real world looking up at the clock, would it be like
Yeah.
What's the thing? It's moving so fast you wouldn't be able to see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is interesting for why she says, make sure you stay very still.
Right.
Why?
Because I can see. See? That's where it's interesting. So maybe like the realms are at normal speed, and then the real world is truly at a slower speed than the realms.
I would think that it's dangerous. Like if she were to fall out, like if she were to fall out of the clock, it would be very dangerous for her because then she would be in like,
oh, she'd be falling in real time.
Yeah. Like what would happen to her if she falls back into the real world?
Right. Oh, that's a good head scratcher, man.
Go ahead, Nick.
Oh,
so since we're kind of talking about the interportals of the realms and in real life, I kind of want to talk about the scene where Clara is, you know, she's leaving the party and she's essentially finding her way in, you know, her door into the realm. I didn't quite fully understand what
when they're following the strings.
Yeah, so like what is that like golden rope that she's kind of following that takes her to that tree where the key is? Like what I wasn't too sure what the motive behind that was. Like why was she going in that direction? Was somebody leading her there? Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
So all of the strings were leading the children to a gift. That was her string leading her to her gift. So I don't, what did we call him? The Godfather? Is her godfather?
Oh, Morgan Freeman's character?
Yeah, he was her godfather, yeah.
Yeah. So he was, yes, leading her into the four realms to find this key. So like there's a lot of ways you can take this. That's why like it's the story that it is like you can interpret a lot of things certain ways. But yes, that rope was leading her into the four realms.
So then does Morgan Freeman's character, is he the one that kind of like did Clara's mother tell I'm just gonna call him the Godfather. Did Clara's mom tell the Godfather that, hey, like this is what I want you to do to essentially kick off or help my daughter like find herself, like give her a challenge, you know, so something to overcome? Like was he essentially like the messenger, you know, from her mother, like, or was that like a loose kind of theory?
I think there's multiple ways you could take it, but I'm currently thinking that
because the keys in the tree, like that's what she needs to get, and it's like, well, you know, who put that there?
Well, in that he did, right? Like that's the thing is,
yeah,
it was all there, and this is where the real question of intent comes in. It's like, what is the purpose? I mean, you could really read it as his whole thing. It was like, I sent her into the four realms to go on this very particular journey. Where it's like that's what the four realms is like you go on this journey. But that's like a very literal way of thinking about it. So there's like I said, there's lots of ways to interpret it, but her mother's dying wish was for her to, I assume, see or go to the four realms, know that it's a real place. But I think the real question comes down to is who showed the mother the four realms?
You found it, right?
She says she found it, but does that mean she found it while she was with the Godfather? Because he seems to have the portal to the four realms.
Or she told him about it.
right? Like, so that's what I mean is like there's lots of ways to interpret this.
Yeah.
Which is what I was saying. Like she, the mother, essentially made him like the messenger. Like she told him everything, and then he was just relaying it.
Yes, to whatever degree he knows everything about the four realms.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm just wondering if the moment that Clara finds the key in that in that tree, like was she just supposed to be able to just grab the key and then go back into the real world and like unlock her egg, or were all of those sequence of events with the rat taking the key, like was all of that after that's supposed to happen? That's which is why I think that like some of the story in the beginning kind of lacks a little bit of foundation, because it's like we understand the message towards like the second half of the movie, but the motive is what isn't super clear to me, of like what was supposed to happen, what was planned out, what was an accident, what wasn't intentional. And I just feel like we never really know. Um, like we just don't know.
I think that's kind of the point. Like it's up to the audience to decide like what happened and why.
Yeah.
I mean, like you could choose to believe that she had like this is all just some hallucination. She just found the key, she opened it up, and she she sat alone and thought about it as she listened to this song play, right? Like magic isn't real, or is it? But yeah,
yeah. New scene, new moment, I guess. Just
anybody got anything?
To be honest, I'm at quotes. So people gotta be the drivers on this one.
Yeah. Well, I'll bring up a scene that I kind of liked. It was the introduction to like the three realms keepers, I guess. You got Shiver, Sugar Plum. Who was the forest guy? What was his name?
Oh,
Flower, blah blah blah.
The flower something.
oh, it's dumber than you'd think.
Tree something? No.
I mean, when I say dumber, I mean like it's not related to the thing. Is obviously
God, I can't remember his
Hawthorne.
name. What?
Hawthorne.
Hawthorne?
Hawthorne. That's what I mean. Like it's dude Shiver and he's freaking snow. Like makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Hawthorne and the dude is flowers, right? Like
yeah.
I you make the connection. I don't know.
You would be so funny if they've somehow found a way to do like Shiver Me Timber. I don't know how you would incorporate the me. That'd be the difficult part.
Like if they fuse together and like created like one.
Smeetember. Shiver Smeetember.
Yeah. Because Timber
Or-
could be the flower dude because of trees and everything.
Actually, that should have been his name, was Timber. Yeah.
Shiver is obviously the cold. And then how do you do the sugar plum? Like, how do you do the sweet to do me? I don't know. Yeah, tough. Anyway,
yeah, but I just like the introduction scene to them, because it's kind of like it's cool to have like a mascot, or a gatekeeper, or whatever you want to call it, to these realms. But a moment that I really liked from Hawthorne, when Clara's talking to him and she's talking about like Christmas, and he just goes, "Oh, Christmas! I love Christmas. What is Christmas?"
yeah.
There's a fun moment.
This is a great moment where like you guys have brought up the costuming, where the makeup work is absolutely phenomenal.
Mhm.
I mean, these guys look really good. I don't necessarily like all of the design choices for the characters, but the makeup itself is incredible. It looks great. I mean, for a guy who's supposed to be icy, it doesn't look cheesy. Like he looks like a character.
Yeah.
There have been so many other examples of people that are supposed to be like Jack Frost or like some ice person. And they look cheesy and ridiculous. He looked ridiculous, but in the good way.
He kind of almost looked like Snow Miser.
A little bit, I could see it.
And that's not a bad thing.
No, but I did like Hawthorne as well. Like I got like that whole crazy like Victorian like just the high fashion of like old Perry, where
Right.
the buckled shoes and stuff, like the big hair. I but with flowers, like, so I really loved the design for that character as well. And Sugar Plum Fairy, I mean, for somebody who's supposed to be made of like freaking cotton candy and other sugar,
Mhm.
she looked great.
And she can just like sprout wings anytime she wants to.
Yeah. So I had a little bit. That was one of my CGI problems.
Was
Scenes that when she gets all excited and she just floats up and floats down.
Yeah.
I hate it. I think it looks weird. It looked like they put her on some sort of like I guess like an arm or whatever that's like lifting her up and then bringing her back down. And
Yeah.
but the way that the background, like how the CGI is brought in, it looks. You know how like when you can see an effect is about to happen. Like I'm trying to think of like a good way to say this. You remember in like old hand-drawn animations where you could see an object that was like, well, that's clearly something that was like hand-drawn. They're going to use it. They're going to pick it up because it looks
Oh yeah, yeah.
most of the animation. That's what her flying the first time looked like to me. It's like, oh, I can see that she's going to fly because it looks like she's about to take off. It looked like I could see the effect. The magic wasn't really there for me.
Yeah.
So I didn't like it. Go ahead, Brian.
I agree with you on this one. I mean, the fact that you could see it, but also the fact that the actual flight itself, it looked kind of like childish. And it reminded me, I don't know if Jen's going to remember this. She might when I bring it up. But when we were younger, Jen used to have these toys. And they were, do you know what I'm going to go with that?
Oh, the pole fairy that like spins.
They were like dragon fairies or something. And she would play with them all the time. And the minute I saw her start to fly, I'm like, oh, the dragon fairy's back. I didn't know they were popular again. But it's like, yeah, you'd like pull the cord and you'd have these like stick figure fairies that just went.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what that reminded me of. I'm like, I think we could have gone a little bit better on the animation on that one, but to each his own.
Have you seen the Vine of when somebody pulls one of those, and it's like Christmas morning, like the girl like just got it or something, and somebody pulls it and it flies right into their fireplace. Have you seen that one? It's so sad, but so funny.
Oh my god, the feels for that child.
There's a reason you don't play with those inside.
Oh, I gotta watch this now. Oh man.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Send it to the group chat.
And if you're a messed up parent, you can look at your kid and be like, what'd you say to Santa to piss him off?
Oh man.
Ma'am, he normally just leaves cold, but for him to set you up like that, what'd you do? You're not just on the naughty list. Naughty list.
Oh my god, I found it. I found it.
Jesus, toy death by fireplace. That's amazing. Okay,
I'm gonna
well,
send it.
I'm glad you guys all knew what toy I was talking about even before I started to talk about it. That's hilarious.
Well, they still make them, but I remember like when that whole craze happened because they made them in every style possible.
Oh, and if you ever went to the park, you could not see at least 50 of them at one point going up in the air all together. I'm like, this is a craze right now.
You don't need to go to the park when you have a yard.
Yeah, Jen would either, because we had a pretty big house, so she would normally just run around and like zoom it off in the living room, or in the backyard or the front yard,
or straight into the ceiling.
Yeah, I definitely remember a couple of times having to climb on the roof to get it for her because she let that one go a little too wild.
I sent it to the chat if you guys want to just watch it real quick. It's like 10 seconds long. So good.
I've seen it before, so I'm just watching your guys' react.
Oh, that's bad.
So good. But that's what the animation looks like. It just like Sugar Plum just goes up. It just like floats up.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah. Honestly, I think what they should have done with that clip is that they should have just had the wings come out and like the wings flutter, like not have her float up and down. But like she can show Sugar Plum could show her excitement just by having the wings pop out. You know?
Or even just like mirror what you did for Tinkerbell. Because if I remember, Tinkerbell doesn't fly vertical. Doesn't she kind of fly at a slant?
Typically, like her wings are carrying and her feet are kind of dragging her a little.
Yeah.
Which would have looked more natural, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's another good reason for like why this looked a little weird. I have a theory. I guess it started off as a prediction, but because it didn't come to fruition, it's now a theory. What is the likelihood that Morgan Freeman is actually a Nutcracker? He was originally a Nutcracker soldier. She turns him to a human being and brings him to the real world.
What is that based off of?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, because I was like, where'd you get that from?
It was a feeling. It was like every now and then when I'm watching a movie and I just kind of get a vibe about a character or something, you kind of draw a prediction, a conclusion about them. Like, oh, I bet they're going to be this, just based off of the title of the movie and what you've seen so far. So I predicted that it was going to be like some big reveal that he used to be a Nutcracker soldier, or he was the Nutcracker soldier.
And that the current Nutcracker, was it Captain Philip?
Mm-hmm.
Captain Philip, that maybe he was like the son or something.
Son, predecessor, just like, he was the next in line of, because in the movie.
So you're trying to red yarn this.
Trying to what?
You're trying to red yarn this?
I suppose, yes.
Okay.
Because they do mention that Captain Hoffman is the last the last Nutcracker, right? Like there are no other Nutcracker soldiers. So that kind of feeds into maybe Morgan Freeman was one, and like he's part of the reason that they're not there anymore.
Can we talk about him? Just Captain Philip in general. Like,
yeah,
he keeps guard at his post, right? Like for this bridge that enters into is it a castle? Palace? Castle?
It's just to enter the fourth realm.
Yeah, because he's in the Christmas tree forest.
Or yeah, that's right. He's not even in the realm yet.
Great name.
Yeah, great
Did
name.
they
Yeah.
call it the Christmas tree forest?
Yeah.
And they don't know
Yes.
what Christmas is. My God.
They're calling it the Christmas tree
I
forest.
just made that conclusion. That is hilarious. I wonder if they just totally missed that. Like, that's a big beef.
Yeah. They're like, it's either the Christmas tree forest or the forest of Christmas trees. I forgot which direction it is.
No, it was Christmas tree forest.
It is okay.
Like, yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah.
But they could have just called it like the forest of trees. Like that would have sounded better and made more sense.
Here's the thing. If it's if it's Claire's mom who's discovering all of this and giving it names, she would see it and call it the Christmas tree florist because that's what it looks like to her. And then she's bringing all these toys to life.
Good call.
So like that's what they would know it as, but to them, they don't know what Christmas is. They just know that's a Christmas tree. Why why is it a Christmas tree? Because that's what it's called. Like, why is a rattlesnake? That's a bad example.
Why is a window a window?
Yeah, why is a window a window?
I would really love to know how she came up with the name of four realms and what was going on in her mind on that one.
I do wish we got more flashbacks of the mom. We only got one.
Yep.
You know, I kind of wish we had gotten some flashbacks of her in the realms.
Wasn't even that impactful either.
What?
The flashback. It wasn't.
It was at a Christmas when she was opening a gift, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was about. I'm like.
No, she was decorating a tree.
I'm like, we could have gone with a little stronger emotional tied flashback, but I mean, we'll go with Christmas decorations.
So, to be clear, that flashback is kind of the start of her mom's illness kicking
Right.
in. So, I mean, like, it's significant in that.
And she was clearly hiding it from Clara.
Yeah, or trying to. It seems like Clara probably knew something was up. But that's the start. That's her mom. That was the first time her mom mentioned this place. You know, she brought up the four realms. Like I saw that I've discovered this magical place, and she was going to tell her about it. So that's her kind of getting to contemplate, remember this conversation, and have new perspective on it. Because it's her mom sharing this place with her, or trying to. That's her getting to connect with her mom.
Yeah.
Back to the whole trying to get over death thing. Like, you know, that's part of it too, right? It's like that's her kind of gaining some acceptance, or like beginning to think about like that the pieces of her mom are never going to go away because they're in her. Like, you know, like as long as she can remember her mom.
I just sort of wish that while that flashback was because it's a memory of Clara's, I just wish that we, the audience, got like a story flashback, like that we know more about what the mom was like in the Four Realms, even though Clara doesn't know what that was like, but at least we know.
Oh, so like story told through past events of Clara's mom.
Yes, because Clara wouldn't know what that would have been like.
Of course not.
Yeah. But just for our sake to know more about the mom's character, I thought that would have helped even more with like the struggle that Clara is going through, trying to figure it out without her mom.
Did you have also more to say about Captain Philip, Nick, or?
Oh yeah. Sorry, we got trailed off.
Yeah, no, I was trying to bring it back for you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, no, so I know that he's like the guard. He's you know, like that's his post of where, you know, he's guarding that bridge. This is the part where I kind of go back to your statement, Brian, when you said like, oh yeah, like this movie is called The Nutcracker, right? And then it's just like this dude standing in a wooden outhouse. Like, his introduction I wish was a little bit more grand, you know? Like it should have been more out there. Like we got like some comedic, moments with him and Clara, but I just felt like it could have been a little bit more epic.
Yeah. I mean, right off the bat, he even seemed a little robotic.
Well,
I mean, she's
are you
touching
saying
his
that as a good
face.
thing or a bad thing? Him being robotic, are you saying that is a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh, I was indifferent to it. I'm just like, well, you're not acting human and you're not acting like completely fake either. It's like you were just that perfect middle to where he was you could tell that very militant disciplined almost. It's
Well, he is supposed to be in the military. He's a soldier.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's my thing though, like he obviously wasn't doing a good job guarding because Clara walks up to him, touches his face, and no reaction. Like I didn't understand what was he asleep or was he like in toy mode or
London guards are definitely statuesque individuals in our real world, but I don't know if he was. I don't know what just made him magically. I have no idea. I really don't.
Go ahead, Jen.
Go ahead.
I think he was just trying to do a sneak attack. So like pretend that sleeping and then get her.
I guess.
I laughed like really hard at this scene when he goes like she finally convinces it or he's convinced, I guess, to open the gate and cross the bridge. And he goes through all these damn steps just for it to just
yeah.
It's like, are you serious? I really liked how they used technology, like these gears and all of these like it was a lot of fun for me, and that was such a great joke because I think she even like rolls her eyes like, are you really?
Yeah.
Like that was a great little gag.
Yep. It was like the little skinny gate raises.
Yeah, like a tiny little bar. I'm like, it would have taken no effort to just lift this and walk.
Yeah. Or just jump over it.
It's like the Canadian border. Like it's just guarded by a cone. Like
oh man.
But I did really like Clara and the captain's like exchange at the beginning when like when Jen said like when he kind of does that like stance for like a sneak attack or something. Clara just goes, "It's just me." And then
that was
fun. He says something like, "State your purpose. It's just me."
Yeah.
And then she says her name is Clara, and then he calls her Clara just me.
Yeah.
Thinking that just me is her last name. So I really like that exchange, which is, by the way, is what my name is on here.
Nick just me.
Very nice. Ooh, sorry, I've got hiccups. Ooh. Just trying to see if I have any other scenes.
It's weird. I feel like a lot happens, but then a lot doesn't happen. It's like the movie is an hour and 40 minutes. It's not like a short film by any means.
Honestly, but it's pretty average length when you think about it, right? Like for what movies used to be before they were epics that were an average of 4 hours long.
Yeah.
You had to get 2 tickets so you could come back the next day to watch the second part. Don't worry, it's only 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
I did have so one more scene just to bring up, but before I like the scene itself, what did you guys think of like these fight sequences and stuff? I really liked how when the big war and everything kind of breaks out, right? The big battle where the Rat King and Captain versus all of the toy soldiers. Helen Mirren with the whip that she went and got training for, like looking like a natural, tossing these toy soldiers around. There were a couple of good little fight sequences in this thing, and for the most part, I thought it was pretty good. There were a couple of moments where you could tell that they were fighting or dealing with CGI creatures, and it's like they told you to pretend something's there. We'll put it in post. But one thing that always happens when they do that is something is very, very close to them, and they have no reaction to it, and then it's like, oh, there it is, kick it. Like, yeah, it was right there 2 seconds ago, and it almost chopped your head off. You think you would have noticed. But I thought they were pretty good.
Can I pause you for just 1 sec?
No. Yeah.
I want you to re-listen to what you just said. And what the sentences that you just said about war and fighting, whip cracking and battles. That's all in the same movie that you're trying to promote to me as a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Okay.
He's bringing up the Die Hard argument again.
Well,
No.
he's
We're past Die Hard on this one.
He's grinching it again. He's battling about what the meaning of Christmas is, and by that I mean what a Christmas movie is. Like, does it have to be about Christmas, or can it take place at Christmas?
It has to be about Christmas. We
Okay,
unpacked
so
this on the
Christmas
Die Hard.
Is it Christmas Carol a Christmas movie? Why? Because
Is
it has in the title. It has nothing to do with Christmas. It has everything to do with an old man who is wasting his life being a curmudgeon. And
yes, but the spirit of Christmas overcomes him. So yeah, it's a Christmas movie.
why is it? How is that any different than this? It's sugar plum fairies and toy soldiers. It's the magic of Christmas.
Where is the magic of Christmas?
The
To
love
me, it looked like a magic
God.
of keys and a shrink ray.
Oh man.
Anyway, I will entertain you to answer your question about your Christmas war.
What a blast.
What?
I said what a blast.
Okay, so no, but all jokes aside, so the fighting sequences, you'll have to refresh my memory because I feel like there's a couple of them, right?
There are a few.
I do remember in particular one where Captain Hoffman is swinging at the Russian dolls.
Yes.
And they keep opening up on him.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, that was pretty creative.
I thought that was a fun one.
But yeah, I guess like the whole I think the way that they filmed the battle was kind of cool, where it was like you've got the fight that's going on inside the palace where the Shrink Ray and Clara and Sugar Plum Fairy and they're all doing their thing there. And then you've got like the outside of the realms where the toy soldiers are fighting Hoffman and the are we just calling him the Mouse King?
Yeah, the Mouse King was
yeah. So that's going there. But what I like is then you get like the overdrop of Clara's voice. She's basically doing her monologue at this point, but the movie keeps bringing you in and out of which one you're with, but you always are with her monologue. I think I'm explaining this right. And I thought that was a very interesting choice, and it intensified the action a little bit more than if it was just, because let's be real, how hard is it to make hollow tin giant toy soldier battle interesting? I can only imagine that's not an easy task to accomplish. So with the drastic scene changes, the monologue of how she's being, you're right, I am my mother, I'm every bit of her, and all that stuff, with everything going on, I think it was a really good execution.
So, just to answer to a degree your question about taking on soldiers, Nick, you just watched the Santa Claus too. How easy is it to take out or make it interesting to fight hollow soldiers?
Toy soldiers there.
Well, are you talking about the Santa, the dictator Santa?
Well, his soldiers, yes.
Well, oh, his soldiers, yeah, pretty tough.
Was it interesting? They were throwing
Yeah, if I
snowballs.
remember,
And they
that's a
would fall
pretty
down.
lame battle, isn't it?
Yes, it's a snowball fight.
Yeah.
It's like the it just
It's
snowballs
a
are not
literal
effective.
snowball fight. There's
Yeah.
a game on the Santa Claus 2 special features where you throw snowballs at the toys.
And they do almost nothing.
That is their
Yeah.
weakness. That is their
So,
weakness is
like I
snowballs.
said, I give him credit. It's not easy to come up with that type of battle and make it entertaining. And I really do think they did a good job on at least the entertainment level.
I want to give big kudos for this, where they had toy soldiers missing body parts, heads turned around. Like,
Right.
this was a darker Disney movie, and having the opinion that this is a softer society and wishing that Disney would have the guts to be a little more risque with their stories and a little bit darker in tone sometimes. Like, I appreciated this. Like, it was I like that it was a little bit scary. I like that it wasn't like, oh my god, this is going to be an epic battle, but like it was fun, and like you said, cutting between the two kept the intensity up.
They even had the Mouse King get stabbed. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I freaking loved it.
Hmm.
Sorry, I loved how they used it. Like I said, I mean, like, it didn't matter what they did, that you couldn't phase through this thing. Like they
Yeah,
were
exactly.
like, it was such a cool concept to personify the Rat King. Loved it. Loved the idea. And what if
Oh my god, I just thought of something. It would take a lot of CGI.
Yeah.
But they go in for the stab of the Mouse King.
Mhm.
The scene cuts to the blade going actually into the Mouse King. And so now you're on the inside and you see all these the mice are basically like doing Matrix moves as the blade goes through it. That would look pretty damn cool.
Goes for the
That'd be
stab
epic,
in, and then
yeah.
it zooms in and slows down, and you can just see them all bending and
Exactly. Yeah, you see like their tail just curling over, like, nope, not today.
like an inside out zoom, like when they go like zoom into their heads, like that kind of a zoom, like
Yep.
inside of the
Yeah, I thought that would be, it would take some CGI work, but man, it would pay off, I think.
yeah.
that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think last scene and then quotes. This was just a scene that I thought was really beautiful, and a great way to end this movie. I titled it "Our First Dance."
Mm.
And it's Clara kind of having her apology and rekindling, or whatever with her dad at the gazebo and having a dance with them, and it's a really nice moment between the two of them of kind of like just being honest and saying like, this is a really tough time for me, and I just want you to understand that like I'm doing what I'm doing because it's what I have to do to survive this. Like, I'm going through a lot, but like I understand that you're going through a lot too. And then it all kind of has that beautiful moment where he recognizes the song is like, this is the song that was playing for our first dance. And I thought it was a really beautiful moment. I thought it was a great way to kind of end the movie. And personally, I would have been okay if it ended there. I know that there's not much that happens after. They cut to them dancing inside at the party again, where they've rejoined everybody and they're smiling and laughing. I think it cuts to Morgan Freeman. He may say something, but like if it had ended with that family dancing in the gazebo, like after that moment, I'm like, now that's a Christmas ending, right? Like what a happy ending. This family's going to be okay. They're sharing this wonderful Christmas moment while going through this tragedy together, right? Beautiful family moment. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, what I think was done really well was in the beginning, you see the father is really trying to keep it together, and he's kind of putting on this image that like we just need to push forward, like we need to keep doing what we've been doing, um, and not change like our traditions, like just keep going forward. And and that's what gets Clara all upset, thinking that he's like he is acting like nothing ever changed. And so I like that scene when they have that first dance, when he finally admits, like, I just lost the love of my life, you lost your mother, like things have been really tough and hard. And I like that he did eventually like really explain to Clara how he was feeling in that moment. And I thought they played it off really well.
Yeah. When think of it from that typical male standpoint too, of can't show emotions, can't let you know I'm hurting, can't let you know that I feel. So like that's what he's doing the entire time, right? It's like he's suffering and just trying to put on a brave face and pretend like everything's okay, right? Can't let him know.
Yeah. Can't show weakness, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to keep the family together, and if you show weakness, then like things can shatter or whatever. Yeah.
Good, Brian.
But Brian, yeah.
The only other thing I'd want to add to that is the one of the tropes that I love that I really love, especially around winter and snow movies, is when
you just can't say Christmas movies.
Yeah, I know. I was like thinking the exact same thing. I was like, you can't just say Christmas movies.
It's gonna be a debate now.
No, but really, I mean, Christmas included, but it's truly like winter and just snow movies is when the camera's on the inside and then it starts to zoom out, and it just takes you right out of the window. And then you see like the frost on the window, and you see like that warm glow from coming inside, like especially if it's like a fire. That move never ever gets old. It works every single time. Every time. And they did it. I don't know if you guys know. That's why I bring it up.
I forgot that's how it ended. Thank you.
I think it's how it ends, right? Isn't it? They take you out of the window and then they like basically to credits we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it ends like it goes up into the sky, and then the owl flies off like towards the moon.
Yeah.
That's the last shot. But is what you're talking about? Is that when while the father and daughter are dancing, it cuts to the godfather standing in the window, and then you see the reflection of the family dancing like on the right side of the window. Did you catch that?
No, I missed that part.
Yeah, so there's a clip where Morgan Freeman, like the camera's on the outside, and Morgan Freeman's character is on the inside looking out at them.
Okay.
And to the right of him, there's like this like red reflection, and you see like the three kids and the father, they're dancing around that, the gazebo or whatever it's called. I thought that was really touching.
No, I mean, no, the moment I'm talking about is I would probably say the last 3 to 5 seconds of the film. It's like the very, very ending, and they've already done the dancing. Everyone's, the gang's all back together. Everyone's happy, all that stuff. And then they take you out of the whatever room or palace or whatever they're in. You've got that shot of the snowy glass and roll credits. It was really, really well done. And like I said, it's definitely one of my favorite moves for winter themed movies.
Yeah.
Because even Beauty and the Beast does it. The cartoon.
Yeah. It is a nice effect, and it is a great way to like expand the world, right? It's like, and this
Right.
to end it, it's like, and that's the end of our story. Let's pull out
Yeah, yeah,
scenery. It's a nice, lovely night, and fade to black.
yeah.
Like it is a solid way to end.
It is.
Although it's interesting to me, like there's the shooting star, and then the owl takes off. And it flies in the exact same direction as that shooting star. It's like, well, what's that about?
Yeah.
Also, why wouldn't you let the owl fly in front of the moon? Like, that's a cool shot and you wanted to do it.
I was waiting for it. It like
waited until it got
it
under
stops
the moon,
until it got right underneath the moon. I was like, I wanted to like kind of go up and get a silhouette.
right?
Get an ET moment going on there.
Right?
And
Yeah.
the shooting star, come on, guys, it's Disney. When you wish upon a star,
Well,
you travel in the same direction of that star.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
I am down to 2 quotes. Woo, what the hell exciting.
nice. I think I do want to bring it up. It's not technically a scene.
Sure.
But the end credits, where the first credits, where it's the ballet.
Yeah.
I loved this. I loved it so much. It was beautiful. It was fun. I loved how at the end it cuts to like the modern dancer and doing his bit of the song where it's all crazy and wild, and then right back to the ballet. I was very entertained by this bit of the credits. So what a wonderful callback to the traditions of this story, and a beautiful way to send it off into the credits. Go ahead, Brian.
I agree. It was very tastefully done. And the dancing, or the ballet itself, was just stunning to watch, which reminded me of something that I haven't brought up yet. Going back into the movie, when there was certain scenes of ballet dancing, I felt that it was mediocre at best. And I mean, we're dealing with your premise of the movie as the Nutcracker. Why aren't we going for above and beyond ballet dancing? Because that's what one of the most things that the Nutcracker is known for, especially the ballet portion, is storytelling dancing. And the ballet that we got in the actual movie itself was, I mean, it just seems so basic and just not anything that you would expect the Nutcracker to be. I mean, at one point they weren't even dancing; they were spinning the wind-up wheels on the mice. I'm like, what are we doing, guys? Like, you're based off of the Nutcracker, and this is what I'm getting. So that was another one of my nitpicks. Go ahead, Matt.
So, have any of you guys seen Center Stage?
I have not.
It's a dance movie about the American Ballet Academy, something. I don't know. It's one of those things, but it's ballet. It's a really great story, but they film the sequences, like the choreography is very good. It's exciting, it's fun, and like if you don't love the ballet in this, and like you have uncultured swine, but that's where I think this movie really fails as well. Like you're saying, is when the ballet goes in, the scene where the Sugar Plum Fairy is like, now pay attention, this is the story of how the realms were found, and it's like, is it though? Like,
yeah,
I'm.
So she ran around on her toes. Perfect.
Okay, well that's not easy, and that is actual, like, that's legit. But
right.
But my problem is this whole scene should have been nothing but the ballet. Don't cut to Sugar Plum Fairy and Clara having a conversation. And if you do, like, very, very rarely, and the ballet needs to be in the background. Like, that needs to be the focus, and it needs to tell the story. Yep. Because like you guys were saying of wanting more flashbacks of Clara's mom in the Four Realms, that's how you do it. You start with this ballet, you build
that's
and
good.
then you fade it into these flashbacks, and now we as the audience get this story, but Clara is just seeing the ballet. So it works all around.
That's really good, Matt.
But the ballet needs to be good.
Yeah.
And it needs to be telling the story, right? Like it does. So I think it fails there. But I think the ballet in the credits is just phenomenal. Go ahead, Brian.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
42.
What?
Go on. I have
42.
joke. You guys never get it.
I didn't hear it.
It's always 42, guys. Just move on. Go ahead, Brian.
I don't think I know that.
What is the meaning of life? 42.
Oh, what's that from?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, no.
Just
Not familiar at all with that one.
okay.
Yeah, no.
I will not subject you to it, Jen. I don't care about these guys, but I will not subject you to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
So correct me if I'm wrong, because you started to talk about how they were doing, the story of the Four Realms, and how they were doing they had the ballet, they were cutting to them talking. Is this the point when all of a sudden you get random cuts of Clara on a sleigh or on a carriage going through each realm as well?
Yeah.
I didn't understand that part.
Yeah.
We went from like ballet dancing to talking in the stands to you're on a carriage in each world. It just, okay. So that is, I'm not making that up. That is the sequence of the movie. Okay. That one was a rough watch too. I'm just like, you are butchering the hell out of an area of your movie that you could absolutely be just going lights out on. You could drop some of the actual Nutcracker score in from the composer that I can never say his name. It starts with a T. And on top of that, you can have real ballet dancers that have skill levels that are unbelievable. And right there, and you start doing your idea, Matt, of like flashback to the actual story. Holy, that is a whole different 10 minutes. And I think it changes a lot.
Yeah. I'm with it. Like I think we figured out a good way to fix this sequence at least.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the
way to fix that reverse swan.
Yeah,
but we're gonna reverse that reverse swan.
There's one earlier moment. Sorry, Brian, Nick. But there is that one earlier moment with the ballet right before Morgan Freeman's character sends everybody off to get their presents. That it's the end of a ballet. Like we don't even get to see that. It's like all of these nods to some of the source material that should have been taken.
Yeah,
some real care. We're a little like just kind of an oversight.
Yep.
Go ahead, Nick.
Just totally tangenting off of this because I think we've said enough. But the one thing I really liked that I visually noticed is like every shot in this movie, from like an aesthetic standpoint. I don't know if anybody else had this feeling, but I just felt like I could touch, like if I was to rub my hand down the screen, I could like feel the texture of everything that was on screen. There were a lot of like curves and like shadows and like edges and like gritty, textures of like trees and like railings and walls and ground and water. And like every shot in this film just had like this texture that was like, if I was high on something, I could touch, like just rub my hand down the TV and I could like feel all of the bumps and the nooks and the,
Oh my
So
god!
I just think the movie is visually appealing to look at because there's so much to look at. It's not like flat imagery, or it's not too dark, it's not too bright. They really have a nice blend of like all the values that images need. But yeah, so, and that's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
I
Moving
mean,
on.
I agree. It's like I said in the top of the show. It's the visuals are outstanding in this movie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're down to quotes. I've got one.
You have one,
Three. I have three.
three. Okay, I have two.
Okay. You want to go first?
Sure. I won't be able to do it the way she said it but it was perfect, and it was Sugar Plum Fairy when she is
It's not attempting.
full tilt and bad shit crazy, and says, "I'm the queen of the castle, and you're a dirty rascal."
Oh yeah.
I loved it. Just once again, she entered an area that I just didn't even know Kira had, and just perfect line read on it.
Yeah, I think she had a couple of little like rhyming jabs like that, and they were solid. Great.
Yeah.
First one just a little. It was the first one I wrote down. I think it's just because it kind of sets the tone for what this movie starts off with. And I think it was Fritz, the son. After the father shows them the decorated tree, he kind of goes, "It's not how mother did it," and you just kind of feel the entire energy of the room drop after that.
Mm.
So, yeah, just wrote it down for the significance of the story and kind of setting the pace of like, "Yay, we're all happy, but mom's dead. Now we're all sad."
Nick, Jen, do you guys have any?
No, I mean there was one other one from Sugar Plum that I really liked, but I didn't write it down. Maybe you have it.
No, my last one is from one of the guards, whether it's Jake or the other guy. I can't remember who.
Jack.
I'm sorry, Jack or the other guy, but he says, "I'm not alert. I'm scared." So don't get it twisted, all right?
Big difference. Fight or flight.
I feel like that's something you could probably use in real life somewhere somehow.
That's a good one. Was your last one?
That was it.
All right.
Yeah, because the other one we've already said.
Next one, it's I think it was about the same time as my first quote. But it's I think it's actually Clara right before they're heading out to the party where she says the real world just doesn't make sense to me anymore. That just, if that's not epic, like I shouldn't say epic, but like strong as fuck foreshadowing of like, wow, don't you worry, we're getting you out of the real world. I feel like there's always that kind of line, like in these sort of fantasy movies, somebody always says something about wanting to get out of the real world, or the real world sucks, or
yeah,
there's always that line.
Yep.
Don't you worry. And my last one, I really, it's.
Oh, Jen's got something.
Oh yeah.
I have a quote. I can wait till Matt's done with his quote.
Okay.
It's a quick one, and it's actually a bit of a nitpick. So it's another one of my not so great CGI moments. But it's when the mouse is sitting on Captain Hoffman, let's just call him Captain Philip, sitting on his shoulder, and the mouse is telling him the directions to get to what's her name? Granny, was it Granny?
Ginger.
Ginger, thank you.
Mother Ginger.
Mother Ginger. I knew
Great.
Granny Ginger.
I was thinking like grandmother, but like I was like, I know there's a G in here, but I can't think Ginger. That's what it
Was it a Granny Toolhouse? Is that what we're looking for?
But yeah, so it's when the mouse is on him, and Captain Phillip responds with the "I don't speak vermin." But the real reason I wrote it down was like it's a fun little moment that you kind of get a little salute to at the end, where it's like I've got a new friend, so I'm not alone anymore. But it was like I said, it was a little nitpick of the CGI just looked bad, like how Philip was looking at him, the angles and everything seemed off, the CGI, the lighting, it was not done well. I think we brought it up a few times, and it came back again in Dolomite of you have to pay attention to how you're lighting black actors, like, you know, actors with dark skin, because he was dark and that mouse was crystal clear. Like there's a problem there. Jen, I think your hand is up.
Yeah. So there's a quote, and I think it was, well, I don't know what I look at it as it was sad, but the family was laughing. But it's when they're on their way to what's his name, Drosselmeyer, I think, and Fritz, the boy, was like, well, who's gonna dance with me? When they were talking about all the dancing, and like that was their reaction. But I was like, that's so sad, because had his mother been alive, she would have danced with him. Like he really has no option.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that is sad, because I didn't even think of it that way either. Like,
yeah, neither did his own family. Apparently, he's like, who do I get to dance with? I have nobody, and it was sad.
Well, can we explore the family real fast? Like, I think everybody kind of has their place, right? But I feel so bad for the oldest daughter, even though she seems to kind of want the position. She's really stepping into the like, I'm filling in for mom role, you know?
When she's doing her hair.
Just everything.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and a little part of me registered it as a weird moment for a split second, but she just got the dress that was her mother's favorite. She immediately puts it on. And then when dad sees her, he has a strong reaction to it. It's a perfectly innocent reaction, but you know, to the perverted mind and the childish, you can make it inappropriate. But yeah, it just I kind of felt bad for the kids, because they did like, and this is also like a time period where you had your role in the family, right? Like Fritz he's the man of the family, but he's the baby, right? So he's still just a kid. He doesn't have much of a place yet. But you've got the two sisters that are old enough to contribute in ways, and the oldest sister has got to step up as the mother role, right? Like, however old she is, I would guess 14 or 15 based off of our guesses for Clara. So it's like, that's a tough thing, right? Like to lose a mom so young and then have to step into the motherly role and take care of your siblings while dad is doing what dad has to do. It's tough. And on that Debbie Downer, Nick's got his hand up.
I found the quote, the sugar plum quote that I did not write down. And this was a quote that made me realize how evil and scary she got.
Okay.
But she says to Clara, she says, "Your mother abandoned us, and then she just expects us to carry on and play nice. Well, I don't want to play nice."
Yeah, that was a good
and
moment.
Like that last line gave me shivers. Because I was like, all right, I don't want to fuck with you then. Like, I mean, like, if you don't want to play nice, well, okay then.
Okay, check you later.
Yeah.
Now that was another, like said earlier, great line read from Kara. Like, well done.
Mm.
All right. Well, we've officially hit final thoughts and who won the movie. Any volunteers to go first? Go ahead, Jen.
So yeah, no, you guys didn't really change my mind about the movie. It's just a little blasé. Matt, you did help me realize that because I looked at this movie as more so about abandonment, but there is that huge factor of the grief. So maybe that's what was missing. Maybe if I rewatch it with that in mind, I might have a different reaction to it. And then who wins the movie is Mouse Rinks. He wins it for me because I just love the trusty little animal companion to the humans in a fantasy show. He's the best.
All right. Nick, was your hand up or are you just waving?
Well, I guess I'm going now.
Okay.
Yeah, final thoughts. For like a first, I mean, this probably has to be the first like kind of Nutcracker themed movie I've watched that I know of, and I still think it's a really fun fantasy story, like fantasy adventure. But there definitely are some things that they could have amped up, or just focused on more, or just give a little bit more motivation for. But it's still a very great, like fantastical world to be in, like to immerse yourself in and to be a part of. And so the adventure is really what like does it for me. And some really great characters, big and small. And yeah, I think the writing is really good. Like I think the writing is well done. For what the story is, the writing is well done. Like every line carries weight. Like there's not a whole lot of like fluff or like improv that it's just there for comedy. Like every line that was written has weight to it. And yeah, overall it's a fun one. I do classify it as a Christmas movie, because it still has like a spirit of Christmas and gift giving and family and love and what the meaning of Christmas is all about. Like that is still there for me. But yeah, so what wins it for me, I think, I'm gonna have to give it to the art department. Just set the even though a lot of it is green screen, it still looks great. The props, the costume, the environment, it's all really really well done. And that even goes back to the texture comments that I made earlier. Like they just made everything look so pretty and pleasing to look at. So yeah, big props to the art department. They've been in the film.
All right. Ryan, you or me?
I'll go. All right. Looks aren't everything. You can have a good looking movie with good looking costumes, but you gotta have substance and you gotta have a story, and it just can't. The looks can't carry the team. And this discussion has just kind of helped to me to believe that what I wasn't seeing in and that my, what I wasn't seeing is true, and that my rating definitely still stands, especially after like some of the minor tweaks that we would have chose to do if we were, doing this and everything. As far as who won the movie, this is a really easy one for me. Honorable mention is going to go to Mackenzie Foy. I still stand. Keep an eye out for her. I do think that she's going to do some knowing that she was 16 when she did this, I think she's going to have a really, really good career, and I'll definitely be keeping an eye out. But winner of this movie for me is Keira Knightley. I mean, the performance is the most memorable thing of the movie for me, and I really appreciated what she did, basically almost playing two characters in one movie, and making it to where you never really saw the turn and the twist coming. That's how clean cut she was on the good side. You're like, oh, she's gonna be good for the movie. No, it was, I'm super good till I get what I want. Now I'm gonna switch evil. And her performance was spot on for that role that she was in.
Yeah. All right. Well, I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed this talk. I'm definitely, like I said earlier, I'm gonna buy this movie. This is a Christmas movie to me. Sorry, not sorry, but
you do you, boo.
Well, I like I said, the Nutcracker has a special place in my heart. So if it's just a me thing, I'm okay with that. But yeah, I'm going to say that my honorable mention is also going to be to Mackenzie Foy. I agree. Like, I think I don't know when it's going to happen for her, but I do think that at some point she's gonna get recognized if she just keeps at it, and then she's gonna blow up.
Yep.
I mean, 16 years old. I don't know what her credits were before or have been since, but she did a great job. She was a young girl and she carried this movie for sure. I mean, she's on screen the entire time and I wasn't bored. She did a great job. For who wins it though, I'm leaning a little bit more towards what Nick is going, but specifically to the costumes and the makeup. Because yes, the CGI and everything, like, it all looks great and all, but it's yeah, the costumes are just incredible, and I really like what they did with the characters, like the extremes of the icicle, just the flowers, the being Russian dolls that can turn, like, can cut themselves in half. All of that stuff was just really cool and really well done. But also, I guess, to tie in a little bit more with the art department is, and also to tie in feeling that fire, Jen, for you, for if you watch it again with grief and stuff. At the start of the movie, it's very dark and heavily, like, cast in shadow. There's a little bit of light. And then by the end of the movie, everything is bright and lit up again. We've gotten to the other end of the tunnel, and it's beautiful over here. So that was a cool thing that I noticed from the beginning of how it's very heavy contrast, a lot of shadows, a lot of darkness, where the family's, in a depressive state. But by the end of it, they've kind of come out of it and they're in a better place. So art department, everything well done, but specifically makeup and costuming, crushed it. Absolutely nailed it. And I guess the second shout out to Keira Knightley. She did do a really good job. Yeah, I think that wraps it up for the Nutcracker in the Four Realms. But Jen, do you have our pick for next week? And before we get to that, are we back to Monday next week?
Yep.
Back to Monday. Okay, cool. So you've heard it here first, folks. We are back to a normal Monday schedule for the time being. I think that's going to change when we hit Christmas week, so don't get used to it.
But yeah, Jen, do you have next week's movie?
I do. And we're gonna hang out with some old friends. And we're watching Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas.
Okay. This is like a 30-minute special, isn't it?
It's really short. So don't worry about spending too much time on it. But I want to watch it.
Hey, switch it up a little bit. I'm for it.
I'm just curious, like I'm looking it up real fast to see.
I think it's like 90 minutes.
Okay, it's an hour and 12 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It's not too bad. A Christmas special.
We're hanging out with some old friends.
Yes, I knew it. And this has Tim Curry in it. Yes, lots of fun stuff for this one. So, all right, Jen. What was it? It's Beauty and the Beast and
The
Enchanted Christmas.
Enchanted Christmas. Excellent. Yes. So tune in next week here on Twitch at GoodFlickas to watch us talk about Beauty and the Beast and the Enchanted Christmas for our third episode of Disney's Christmas December. Didn't nail it smoothly, but I nailed it. I took
DCD.
You see, that sounds so much cooler. But yeah, check us out on Instagram at good.flickas. You can check us out on YouTube at GoodFlickas. Apologize for delay in new videos. Just stay posted. We have some on the way. You know how the holidays are. It's rough times. But please enjoy some of the videos we have up there. Give us a like, give us a share. And if you have any comments, you can leave them, drop them in the videos, or you can send them to us with any questions, comments, helpful hints, and no nudes. We want those. Please don't send us any of those. But you can do all of that fun stuff at our email account, goodflickas2020@gmail.com. Other than that, check us out here again next week at Twitch for Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas. Yeah, Brian, go ahead and close us out, good sir.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us again, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. And seriously, comment us, reach out to us, and make sure you come check us out next week. And that's an order.
Ooh, nice callback.